Welcome, everybody, to the Making Awesome podcast. This is episode 218. You know how we said we were going to do, like, all these business topics and stuff? And then two of the major players in the industry both had big, like, either a leak or an announcement this week. We didn't intentionally lie to you, but we are going to talk about their implications for business, which is important. If you are joining us live, make sure to leave a like and all of that. For those that don't know, Jacob, I don't know. We probably should have like just quick little intros for ourselves, and I feel like I don't know.
Well, that'll be too professional for us. It's kind of scary.
Yeah.
But for anyone who doesn't know who I am, I'm
Jacob
Jacob.
does something somewhere.
I make cool machines in the UK. If you want high-speed industrial machines, go have a look at Construct 3D. But I just know a bit too much about manufacturing, and I love to share it. So too bad you're stuck with me now, and you're gonna be here for the ride.
Duff said, "You guys can sing." No, you don't. You don't want us to sing.
I don't know. I bet you have a good voice.
Thomas said we know Jacob, who's the guy on the left. Your left or my left? Actually, it's the same left. Mad Cat says t-shirts, non-professional, unsubscribe. I'm sorry I'm not in a suit. Would you like me to be in a suit? Oh, that's a bit of a political browbeat, but whatever. We're here for it.
Well, I'm so tempted to get up because I literally have a suit off camera.
I mean, I could just go throw a sport coat on. That would just be weird, like the long cat shirt with a sport coat.
No.
Like, I could do the tech billionaire when I had the long hair and just like tie it back into a ponytail, right? But no, I can't get away with that anymore. Yeah. Winslow Joyce asks if I'm enjoying having you as a co-host. Yeah, that's why we did it. We enjoy having Jacob on the stream.
Chaos is guaranteed when I'm involved.
Yeah, but it's fun chaos. All right, let's get down to business to defeat, I don't know, the podcast topics. We've got some interesting stuff going on here. So we had the Bambu H2D, it leaked, or a photo of it specifically leaked. I don't know if, so this is the weird thing that's been happening. And Jacob, I want you to kind of comment on this too. Do we believe it's an actual leak, or do we believe it's deliberate? So
Okay.
there's this weird thing of like, look at some of the big things that have turned into PR for companies. And, you know, we've been seeing, especially on Apple's side, where they're deliberately leaking things, right? Where people are accidentally posting things. No, this was all planned. Do we feel like this was planned?
Initially, I thought yes.
Mm-hmm.
Initially. There's one thing that pushed it over the edge to, I think this is, it's either a leak or I'm going more towards leak because there is a resin printer in the bottom of the picture. And that is from a different company. And if it was a leak, normally they wouldn't have other company items in there. Also, it's on the floor. It just doesn't seem coordinated in the right way to be an intentional leak.
But that's
I think
the
this is somebody going, oh, I'm going to send this to like one of my colleagues or maybe like a friend, and then it leaks from that.
Well, you know, the iPhones have traditionally leaked like when someone forgets it in a bar or someone is using it in a bar, right? That seems to be the way that like iPhones tend to get leaked. You know, engineering documents, you might see sizing be released from the case manufacturers. Like, I don't know. I sit here and say, well, the printer that's not theirs, it's an Elegoo, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So the printer that's not theirs on the floor, is the most damning bit of evidence that we have to state that it is an actual accidental leak.
Yeah.
But I mean, imagine the types of contracts that you have to sign to do work like this. I mean, I assume you do, right? We've done R&D test work before. We've done, obviously we've done, content stuff where there's been media embargoes. Some creators listen to those, others don't. But there have been media embargoes and things like that. And so it's not something I'm not used to. This would be like you're getting sued levels of leak, which is what leads me to believe there's no such thing as a real leak anymore.
I think you're right as well.
It's like there's enough tinfoil hat here that, like, I know some of the projects that I've been involved in where, let's say, things got leaked early. As far as I was aware, and according to my contacts, that was not intentional, and that person got in trouble. But, I mean, what did Prusa just do? They teased something, right? Which, is that a leak? Kind of. It was well edited and everything like that. But is there such a thing as a real leak anymore? Because you feel like if there was, the company would be scrambling to get it off the internet.
But it's also on Twitter, the hard place to get things removed from at the moment.
Well, so it first landed in a Facebook group.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it first landed in the Bambu Lab Facebook group, which I don't know if it was the official one. They have control over it. If it's the unofficial one, they don't. And I don't know specifically where it landed. I saw it on Twitter. Speaking of, thank you to Winslow Joy for the $10 for the ad-free stream. Thank you. And don't forget, if you do want to keep these streams ad-free, a couple of bucks goes a long way to make that happen. Dreams Void with the £1. Thank you very much. We greatly appreciate it. And that reminds me, I did not set a goal.
Super professional we are. We do podcasting very regularly. Yes.
Yeah, something like that. It's more of I'm just not a professional YouTuber yet.
Almost there. Oh, what is it, like 300,000 to go? Not 300,000. 300
like
to go.
300, yeah.
300.
We're
I don't know where
almost
the
at
1,000
50K.
go. 300,000 to go. Let's go.
Yeah. Kikawa Ryu Luke said it started from a Bambu WeChat group. Interesting.
Oh.
Interesting. So WeChat is going to be one of those, very Chinese-based talking platforms, right? WhatsApp tends to be more global. It's a meta product. WeChat is not. It's not as anywhere near as decent encrypted and all of that. They're a little different.
It's a very different app. It's almost an everything app.
Yeah.
Luke, it's why they like it so much. It's a good app, to be fair.
Luke agrees with me. He said, my hot take is when leaks happen, it's the company that does it to gain media attention. Yeah, so here's the other thing, right? Bambu delayed this machine. And they delayed it from Q4 of 24 to Q1 of 25. They have 2 weeks before Q1 is over. So is this a deliberate leak to start building that attention to the fact that there's some things that we can talk about in that photo? Or is it to give you a little taste, right? Little Salt Bae sprinkle onto what's coming up to take your mind off the fact that they're not announcing it in 2 weeks, right? Is it gonna push into April? Is it gonna push into May? What we saw, and Jacob, if you want to show the photo, what we saw in that photo appears to be a well-polished machine.
Oh, yeah.
Right? That looks like a well-polished machine to me, right? It's got a high temp AMS. There's a laser sitting on top of it, which we're going to talk about.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting decision.
It's got the screen. It's got definitely not a copy of Ultimaker's nozzle system. There's an e-stop behind Jacob's elbow, which I'm assuming now it's right above Jacob's groin.
There we go.
I'm assuming that's for the laser, and the glass is all tinted green, right? So that all tells us, okay, it's a machine with a laser head built into it, or, accessorized. It's got those pogo pins, which means it's removable, obviously.
Yep.
The high temp AMS to me is the most exciting thing on this printer. Straight up, most exciting thing on this printer.
I think that's going to be the sleeper bit as well, that people are going to sleep on the fact it's high temp AMS.
Yeah.
Because it has implications. And the implications get really interesting when you consider what it allows you to do.
Oh, yeah. Like drying filament as you're printing it inside of the multicolor. I would say multi-material. They're getting closer to it, but I don't find that the AMS is a multi-material system. It is more of a multicolor system. Yes, it can do multi-material, but a single nozzle multi-material, it's a massive waste of material. It's a massive waste of time. And if you don't get your purge volumes right, your part ends up being dummy weak, right?
But with that in mind, now it's two head.
Now it is two heads.
That can fix a lot. Now, I don't know how they've got their setup done. It could be multi-material into one head, and then the other head is something else. It could be two of it is into one, two of it into the other. Could be all four, if it's four, because we can't actually see the size. I'm going to assume it's four.
Yeah.
It looks like it fits the same volume. But it could be all four could go into both heads at choice. Now, that opens up quite a lot of opportunities. So let's take just the type of customer that might buy this. This machine looks expensive. It's got the technology.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be a more industrial focus. As they did announce that it will be higher end. So if you're printing higher end stuff, so let's go with, I don't know, if you're insane, you're using Mark Forged Onyx. And if you're not insane, you're getting any other form of high quality carbon fiber nylon 6.6. If anyone does want a replacement for Mark Forged Onyx, it's 13% carbon fiber nylon 6.
Yep.
Find your own.
3DX tech.
Yeah. Oh my god, it's great. But the point being, like, say you're using a very expensive material, you put that in one head, and then you do your support material and everything else, and your multicolor in the other head. Now, the bit of material you're wasting isn't the expensive one, because that's going to sit in that head. I really like that from a manufacturing point of view. Now, I should say manufacturers don't care about waste. Like the margins are enough to encompass pretty much all the waste, but
it's not so much
makes
the waste.
Certain materials much nicer to work with.
It's the time. The time. So, like, I have both a Bambu X1 Carbon and a Prusa XL, right? In single color jobs. Well, okay, my XL's not, or my Bambu is not stock. It's running a E3D high flow obsidian, which I firmly believe is the best money you can spend on a Bambu printer. Just put one of those in there and double your speeds. It will do it. We're running 35 cubic millimeters a second. It's super loud, but it is the best upgrade I think anyone can do to those machines. But running a stock hot end, even with the stock hot end, the Bambu can print circles around the XL. As soon as you go to more than one color, material, I don't care. As soon as that AMS has to make a switch, the XL runs circles around the Bambu because of how long it takes to do those changes. So going over to a dual nozzle system, like you said, we don't know what the split is, if there even is a split. There could just be a roll on the back that feeds head number 2 or head number. We don't know what that looks like right now. But the assumption is that it's 1, 3, 2, and 2, right? It could be 1 and 3 or 2 and 2. Now, this is a bigger machine. It is 350 by 320 by, I think, 345 or
Oh,
325 in the Z.
let me zoom.
Yeah, enhance.
350, 320, 325. I can't do it on this one because it's
Ah,
NVIDIA bullshit, but
yeah.
I've got the picture up. Yeah, 350, 320, 325.
So the
It's
funny
big.
thing is, I had an insider tell me about the size of this new machine like years ago. Like a while back, a long time ago. And they didn't tell me the size, they told me the printable volume of it. And it came
Mm.
out to a 320 cube. Lo and behold, Bambu has found a way to fit more space. You're doing the same thing on the Construct too, where
Hmm.
you're able to just kind of finagle 5 to 10 millimeters here or there to give you a bigger print volume. Um, I like it. I think it's an interesting build size. What do you think of this 350 by 320 XY?
I am torn. So a lot of when people print, it is cube.
Yeah,
So staying to cube is good. I do find the Z height is tends to be the most important factor for most prints.
but the taller you go, the more chance you have of the whole thing shaking, right? Like you're in an Outcast song, and that's not what I'm wanting. And as someone that has a printer with an 800 millimeter Z that I literally use 550 paracord and turnbuckles to tighten everything together so it doesn't shake a ton, it's pain in the ass. So yes, Z height is nice, but only to a certain point. It can start to be detrimental to the entire machine structural rigidity,
Hmm.
right?
I am very interested to see how it turns out. So 325 in the Z is already quite a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Add on probably another 10 inches with print head, the little air gap you need for the belt and the loops, and then the top of the printer. You're looking at quite a substantially tall machine
Oh
as it
yeah,
is.
yeah. I mean, we're probably talking without the AMS 400, 450 minimum
I think with the AMS, it might not fit in standard rack units.
height.
Yeah, in height.
I mean, even the X1 doesn't fit behind me. If I wanted to put the X1 behind me without its AMS, it doesn't fit. It's taller, right? And if we assume the screen is roughly the same size, that screen's about 100 millimeters tall. It could be smaller than that, but I'm a guy, so I'm gonna go with 100 millimeters tall. So you've got, and you said it was what, 325 in the Z, so that's
Yeah.
13 inches, 17 inches. I'm gonna call it a decent 18 to 20 inch height on that machine total without that AMS. That's big.
Yeah.
But I think people are gonna be mad at this machine. So
I was trying to hold off saying that.
I
My
think
gut feel after I saw it was, oh, I really like it. It's a bit bigger. It's got I'm surprised isn't it being sued into oblivion twin head from
oh yeah, yeah,
Ultimaker.
no, it's such a copy of Ultimaker's head.
It is 100% a copy. It even looks the same with the print core system.
Allegedly.
I'm not a lawyer, but
Yeah.
it is a bit sus. My initial reaction was it's cool. So it's got the light strip on the front. I hope they're doing something color based with that for more than just having a light.
I wonder where they got the light strip under the bed from. There's only one other machine on the market that has that.
I know.
There is one other machine.
It
on
also
the
looks
market.
like an afterthought. It looks like they've just added it now. So it's entirely possible.
To be clear, I like it. I'd like to see it on the Construct 2 as well. I know that you can RGB your actual interior lights, but having that light underneath the build plate that is instead of your nacelle thing
Yep.
lights on top of the machine, it is nice to have it under the bed, but there is literally only one other company that I'm aware of on the market that has a light strip under their bed, and it's Prusa. That's
Okay,
it.
okay. I'm
There's
going on a complete
one.
side tangent now. I was actually thinking, complete side tangent. Screw the bamboo. I'm moving in front of it for now.
Oh Jesus.
So you know how we have the lights in the top
Yeah.
for the nacelle color? I was thinking one under the bed, but I don't want the wires to be moving because lights and wires, the wires can get a bit work hardened. But we have a strip on both sides of the machine going down where the frame bolts to. I was thinking we could turn it into a loading bar. So as the bed moves down, you get a colored light that follows it down, and then you have the entire strip on both sides that could become another nacelle system. So you can see it from pretty much any angle from the front.
Maybe.
But it's a lot of work,
Yeah,
and
you know, don't
not many
don't
people will care.
don't code
Anyway,
yourself into a hole here, right? Like
uh,
we don't want you coded into a hole, but yeah, like
but
I
no, I'll go back to my vibe with this. Initial reaction was I like it. I
vibes.
like it a
It's
lot.
beautiful. It is a
Actually,
beautiful printer.
I've started flipping my vibe after looking closer at it. I feel just from the photo. Now it does change if you touch it. If you touch it, it'll probably be different.
That's
But
what I
from the
tell him, at
picture
least.
alone, I'm a bit concerned it might feel cheap. So
Um,
the white sides here do look a little bit plastic. And then the bottom is still the same plastic, and the top forehead looks like the same plastic from like the P1P and the P1S. It, but the price point they're going for, especially now it's got acrylic doors as well, I am
it
worried
could
that
be tinted glass. We
I
don't know if
hope
it's
it's not.
acrylic.
I hope it's not tinted glass because if there's a laser inside, which is why it's green, I hope it's the right rated absorbent plastic.
But you can also tint glass the same way. You can tint it with film that does the same thing.
I
It,
don't
it,
know.
it,
I'm
if
concerned.
they switch to acrylic and we know this thing is going to be more expensive, yes, it'll be Uncle Jesse proof. But it doesn't solve the problem, right? You're right. It's going to feel cheap. Now the X1, and I'm always going to compare this to the X1, right? And Liz, Pez Liz, made a great point that since the X1 has come out, it has been the de facto standard for what we
Mm.
compare machines to.
Oh yeah.
And she's 100% right. And I'm not certain that's going to change anytime soon. And I think it's mainly because of how fast that machine was adopted. I was talking with don't know if I want to say the person. I was talking with an individual who recently had an exit at a very significant exit out of a company. So they in this industry, so they know what they're doing. They said it doesn't matter what this machine has; it's going to sell.
Yeah.
I 100% agree. It might be a little bit tougher because its market is higher, but like we see Weber Creative Music in here, right? Is that them? Who was the one that said? Yeah, it is. So they said I still likely have more bamboo as my print farm for reliability reasons. Depends on what you're making. If you're making stuff that's protected by NDAs, intellectual property, or whatever, you can't use bamboos. Straight up, you can't. It's violating all of that. It'll even
Yep.
violate a patent. So have fun with that. But if you're just doing like Etsy dragons and crap, it doesn't really matter. I don't think this machine is going to be positioned properly at print farmers. I think the A1 is probably the king of print farm machines at the moment. It's
Mm.
from Bambu, right? I'm looking at Bambu, right? You got the P1P and the A1. Those are going to be your two print farm kings, in my opinion, because they're cheap, they're replaceable. You could go buy them off a store shelf if you got a micro center near you, and parts for them are cheap, right? And traditionally on a print farm, if they fail, throw them out. Who cares? Throw them out. It's not worth, like, let's say you're on, if you have an X1 series and your belt snaps, throw it away. It's not worth fixing it. Sell it for $200 and buy another one. If you haven't made your money back by the time the machine has had problems, you're not charging enough money. Simple as that. Right? And that's personal opinion, but and I know that that contributes to the plastic waste and things like that in the industry. I think you could find someone who is a hobbyist that would want a printer like that for pennies on the dollar and is willing to do the effort. And you could even give them the belt to do it. I think that would be fair, and you could make a hobbyist real happy about that. Tarzan said, we all know the C1, the Construct C1 is the best for a print farm. We have to be realistic. It would be a great machine, but its price point is very high.
It's too expensive.
Yeah,
like the benefit of a C1 is you never have to repair and you don't have to do anything about that. The downside is if you're just replacing machines and it takes like 20 minutes to replace, you don't have that downside.
Yeah, so
just replace them. Like seriously, they like print farms need disposably abusable machines. Like it doesn't matter if you have the perfect machine. If they're all within the same acceptable, now to keep it as acceptable range of quality, go with whatever is the cheapest for the most. And that is the print farm methodology, or well, it's basically modern sweatshops.
Yep.
Where you don't need highly trained personnel, you need a button pusher.
Yep.
The cheap machines are the button pushers in a sweatshop.
I heard from a contact that we're actually seeing more bamboos in government environments.
That scares me.
I know. They're keeping them 100% offline. They're air gapping them. And when the machines fail, they get crushed. Like they physically destroy them. They do like physical level data destruction.
Yep.
I'm like, while I have so many feelings about why I don't like that, the business side of me is like, well,
it makes sense.
That is a solution. But looking at the H2D, the high temp AMS keys into a couple of things. One, there's probably a chamber heater on this machine. If you're drying your filament, it will come out of your printer preheated, right? So if you're able to also heat your chamber to the same amount, you're now dealing with a significantly lower temperature delta. Your filament should perform better, and it often does, directly out of a dryer than it does in a dry box, right? These dry boxes with desiccant. Here in Florida, you leave it open for 10 minutes. It's not a dry box anymore, right? Like the desiccant in the Bambu AMS leaks in Florida. It's like, you don't open them in Florida because they will leak, and that the crap that leaks off of it is corrosive, like highly corrosive. And it will actually...
Isn't it carcinogenic as well?
It probably is. I don't know. Silica gel is going to be the next asbestos. My two predictions for the next asbestos with the mesothelioma is going to be PVC and silica gel. PVC is used in water lines worldwide. It is cheap. It is ubiquitous. I think it's causing problems. And then there's silica gel, which is used to keep things dry, even down to like food items. And I firmly believe it is putting microparticles of silica out into the air that is so incredibly dangerous for humans. We just don't have enough research to deal with it and understand it better. But this could age like milk. I don't know. Or, they could look at us and say, oh, we were the trailblazers. We're not. We're not scientists. But I really do like that high temp AMS, dude. I
would be interested to see if that high temp AMS is backward compatible with the other machines.
I just want that. I want that so bad.
Honestly, if they made that backward compatible, they'll double their profit.
I'd buy it in a heartbeat. If it worked on the X1, buy it in a heartbeat.
Yep.
I don't need a second AMS. That is how you get me to buy a second AMS. Right there. You make it backwards compatible. Take my credit card. I would not even think twice. Now the question is, how expensive will it be? Right? That's where things start to get a little bit tough, because the current AMS is not cheap. It's like, what, $300? somewhere around
Yeah.
that range, I think.
Yeah.
Um, that's not bad. I think for what it offers, it's a reasonable price. This would have to be somewhere in the $400 to $500 range, right? And all of a sudden, that's
I'd
no.
say 500, close to 500. Because if you consider
Yeah,
loading it with material,
call it like
that
495, right? And
I'd
then
still buy it at that.
450 on sale, right? Because we always have to think Bambu runs sales pretty often. So 495, 450 on sale.
Yep. Add it in a bundle, make it 400.
I think
That's what I would do.
they'll
And
sell like hotcakes.
It will sell so hot. I would buy one instantly the moment that they say, oh yeah, you can back, even if you back it to a P1 series, the fact that you can have dry material straight out of the machine, it fixes a problem that a lot of people have and don't know it. How many posts on Print Fix Friday are actually slightly moist material, or the material hasn't been like annealed slightly because it's strained itself?
It's not wet filament. Like 90% of the time it's not wet filament, but there are some times where it is.
Yeah.
Right? And certainly a slightly damp filament will cause extra stringing. I am a firm believer of the butane torch and just deal with it rather than try to hate yourself with something further, by drying it. But it's also a space constraint, right? So I've got a Sunlu S4. The AMS is a Sunlu S4. AMS HT is a Sunlu S4. And if it can get above 70C, now we're starting to push engineering grade materials.
Oh yeah. Like if I could load it with nylon and print dry nylon, like a lot of the prints I make are small when it comes to nylon because people like smaller bits when you get industrial.
70 can still dry nylon.
The 70, if you give it like 6 hours, it can dry nylon. And then as long as you maintain it, I'd just leave it in there, leave it at like 50, so it's a dry environment. You can leave your material in there quite a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need the enclosed printer to print nylon because most of the prints you do are relatively small. They don't have the option to warp. But having the dry material means you can now start doing quite a lot of industrial materials on P1 or machine, just straight up, because the material is dry. That's the challenge with a lot of industrial machines is dry material.
So Luke's saying that the Bambu's already hinted that the AMS2/Pro, it's very clearly the AMS HT, will work on the other AMS printers, but not the A1 because that's the AMS Lite. Yep. And you know what? I think that will probably be the thing that sells more than the machine itself. Because, okay, 2 heads, great. But we've also got the problem with having a dual head printer. You are losing print volume. So the print volume that it states underneath the build plate, that 350 by 320 by 325, is that with one head? Is that with both heads? Is that theoretical maximum print volume?
Single head. Now, Bambu Lab have started a trend where the size you print is not the size you get. And that's because of the cutter.
The 256
it does wind me up a bit.
Yeah.
Because the 256 is not 256 cubed. It's 256 weird shape with cutouts in it. And we even see it in the Centauri Carbon, where whatever size they said, there is an exclusion zone in the corner.
Yep.
And the Bambu Lab has the same. There's an exclusion zone in the corner. And I do wonder if there will be an exclusion zone in this corner as well, meaning the size you get is not the size they're saying.
There almost has to be.
And I don't think they're wrong with how they're marketing it, because it's like a general, like if you put a box over everything. But I do think it's not entirely genuine when you go, oh yes, you can print this size. And if you scale a cube up to that size, it says it doesn't fit because there's an exclusion zone in the corner. So my gut feeling is this is going to be the biggest size possible with one head. And if it shrinks because there's 2 heads, they're just going to go, well, that's the cost of the technology.
Or they've made the bed 350 wide because the cutter will dig into the 350 and make it closer to 320.
Ooh.
Have they made it the ability to single material print at a 350 size, but as soon as you go multi, it cuts it down to the 320?
You know what I'm not seeing? So I've zoomed in on what is available of the head. So uh this bit here. Normally,
You have got to play
right
weatherman here.
right there is where you would add the cutter.
You'd add the
So on
cutter
the
there.
P1 and the
Yeah.
X1, they add the cutter where the heat break ends to the extruder section.
Which is the best place to put it.
It is. I'm not seeing a cutter. So unless it's on the back being pushed through, I'm not seeing a cutter.
So it could be higher up. We don't know. It could be kind of hidden, like an interior button, and there's something sticking out that can push it. There are a lot of to be clear, we don't know anything about this. All we have,
I have one
the
photo.
We have the same data that you all do. We have a photo. That's all we have.
The only thing I can do is I can look at this and zoom. That's it. You've got the same data as me.
Yeah.
Zoom.
Yeah. So it
I hope they haven't done what Ultimaker did with theirs and go Bowden. Because you still need motors for direct drive.
I don't think Bambu can do it. I think with all their direct drive machines, I think going to non-direct drive,
Bowden would kill this machine for me.
Yeah, it's
you can't print nylon anymore. You can't print
no
TPUs or TPEs.
I don't think they can do it. I think it would be, they're going after an industrial market, right? They are. They have to.
Yeah, but the industrial market doesn't care because they don't know. That's why Ultimakers still sell. You saw their new announcement. Still Bowden. Still same speeds. I'm pretty sure half the reasons they're at their same speeds is because they're Bowden based, and they can't physically control the material.
Still running
those lengths.
3mm filaments, so
yeah. Ecosystems.
Yeah,
good for the customer, definitely.
We can dig into the new Ultimaker launch, but I don't think people are going to care about it realistically, because I don't think the people that are watching this video are that.
Let's cover it. Imagine an Ultimaker. Congrats, you've just imagined the brand new one. That's it. I'm not salty, but I will call them out on not innovating enough. They are in an environment, and I am surprised they didn't do anything new. It's the same machine. I'm sorry. Unless you prove it to me otherwise, I will not be singing your praises.
So Kisker said, what about the patent filing photos of the rotating dual head? This is not that. This is not that. Now,
to be fair, we don't know when this photo was taken. I don't have the metadata for this image. So this could be a very old photo that leaked recently. Or most likely it's a new photo because, to be honest, it's the easiest thing to explain.
So when we were at Smurf, there was a Bambu Lab representative there that did not know who I was. So before Denise decided to say, you don't like him, Denise, let me talk to people. Anyways, before they're like, he doesn't like him. Like, whatever. I don't hate Bambu. I don't like what they do as a company. I think they make cool printers, but I have problems with their data security and their data collection. But I'm not going to go down that path today. I confirmed that the leaks during Smurf for the H2D were accurate. I confirmed that that was accurate. So this follows directly with that. Luke said that Bambu rep was super nice. She was a doll. An absolute doll. It's so nice to talk to. She was new to the industry. She just wanted to learn things. And I said, I will teach you anything you want to know. I will introduce you to anybody you want to meet. That's my specialty. It's what I do. And I would still extend that offer, because I think it is important for companies to know the people that work with them. Because otherwise, they're faceless, nameless. I don't like that. But, yeah, Denise is like, he doesn't like Bambu. I'm like, bro, who's speaking right now? Shane, company reps evading grant. No, says Shane. Says Shane. But yeah, so I believe that Bambu is doing what Stratasys has done for years. They're patenting things that they don't use. They're patenting technology that others haven't used yet because they think it might be useful to them in the future, which is legal. It's a little scummy, but it is legal. It's
I
above
mean,
board.
it's implied once you get to a certain level of monetary control and wealth, that's what you want to be doing. Innovation is a resource, just like plastic and metal. There's only so many ideas possible with current technology. And if you have the money to start chat GPT, give me ideas, and then I can patent them, eventually, if you had infinite money, you would control every idea. And that is the end goal of what a lot of these companies with lots of bottomless money, they want to do it because it guarantees there's a future. Because if they stop making stuff, they can go, well, we already own that idea for a product. We're going to let you do it, but we're going to take our cut and still get paid. And
Right.
now they can earn money for doing nothing. And that is the best thing about capitalism if you are a business, is you want to do nothing and get paid for it.
Speaking of doing nothing and getting paid for, if you'd like to, please leave a like and get subscribed on the stream. And hey, a couple bucks goes a long way to help keep these streams ad-free. Capitalism. 44 likes and 167 viewers. We can add more likes to that number, please and thank you.
Come on, like for the weatherman Jacob, just being like, oh,
Yeah, Weatherman Jacob. He did all this work for a green screen. I don't actually know how to do what he's doing, so that's why Jacob's doing it. So
he makes it sound complex. It was just NVIDIA background.
And we're rebranding the podcast soon. You guys are gonna really like it, I think.
Yeah, make sure you're subscribed. We only need 300 more, and then you get to see the rebrand. So make sure you're subscribed. Got to hit that 50K subscribers, and then we'll do it.
That's right. So we get into the controversial thing. The laser.
I'm going to say it now. I think it's a misstep. I think it's cool, but I think it's also it detracts from the main thing that is going to sell this printer. For me, the main thing that will sell this printer is the size, because they're going to go, it's a bigger Bambu Lab, therefore I will buy it. The two heads is neat, and it solves a lot of problems. The high temp AMS is the other 50% of why you would buy it. But the laser, I am concerned. A lot of people already don't know about laser safety. Secondly, it's adding a technology to an industry that is already fairly new to most people, that they probably have never done. I'm going to assume, I'm probably wrong, this is going to be a blue diode laser. For that form factor, it has to be a blue diode laser. If it's any other color, I just wouldn't buy it.
And green glass pushes to blue diode anyways. So
yeah, so it's going to be a blue diode laser.
Right wavelength.
Now, have you ever tried blue diode laser on 3D printed parts?
No.
It doesn't work.
I've done it. I've done CO2. Work. CO2 works great.
CO2 works amazing.
Yeah.
But green diode, blue diode, like 405 nanometer, the 320 nanometer, like give or take, it doesn't etch. It melts. It gets absorbed by a lot of material, and it creates these glass-like divots. It doesn't cut as if you would expect it to cut in any other material. And it's reflected by others. Anything that has a white titanium dioxide pigment in it, so anything that's lighter than dark, will reflect, and it won't do anything. And I've tried it on so many different materials, on PLAs all the way to PETs. It's the colorants that make it not work, and it doesn't have the density to cut. So unless they're doing this almost like what Prusa's just announced with their little drag blade, which I love and we'll definitely cover in a little bit, I don't see this being a laser for 3D printing. I see this as going more down the lines of almost like a snap maker. Is that the one where the 3-in-1 printer?
It is.
And I am concerned
agree with you
because
so
of
much. I agree with you so much, and it upsets me. Big thanks to Chagall there for the $10 saying, are you saying green screens are not a part of my background? No, they're not, because the degenerates that are our Discord server, which you can join at the $10 tier and higher, and that is degenerates in a loving way, of course, would do terrible things with it. Thomas gifted 5 memberships. Luke got one, Daniel D got one, Alex got one, Dan's 3D Prince UK got one, and Matrix Tech got one. So thank you all for that as well. Yeah, I worry that Bambu has said, well, why don't we just try to pack everything that we can into the machine? The thing that people haven't been talking a bunch about, and I think they should, is pogo pins. The pogo pins, man. If you're talking about ease of use, swapping nozzles, and no wires, similar to what they did with the A1 series, where it's a little clamp, you pull it out, and it's just the nozzle and the heat break and all that. There's no wires. Pogo pins involve no wires. Ultimaker did it first. But, dude, you want to talk about swapping a clogged nozzle? 10 seconds. 10 seconds. You're done. Assuming there isn't, like, difficult, clips.
Yeah, if your blob of doom is so big enough to encompass the entire head, might be a bit longer than 10 seconds.
Right. There, we've got comments about potential LiDAR and stuff. No. The laser module on top of the machine states 10 W, so 10 watts, which is the most common size of a blue diode laser. So I think we're pretty happy at the 10-watt blue diode. And we've got the oh crap switch sitting next to the machine, the big red e-stop, which is great and is a requirement. Yeah, you'll be a weatherman one day, Jacob. I have faith in you.
I aspire to it.
Yeah.
Let me look out the window. Yep, still raining because I'm in the UK.
It's going to be raining here later today, too. But, yeah, I don't personally see a lot of reason. Like, it's like to me, the laser's like, well, we have pogo pins to the hot end. We could probably just put a laser on this thing. Like an afterthought, similar to how you thought that the light underneath the bed was an afterthought. I think the laser is an afterthought because, like, when I look at how would I integrate a laser into my workflow, it would be for part serialization and traceability.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it would be.
Yep.
Neither of those work very well for this.
I'd say neither of them are possible with this type of laser. Like, unless you're putting regular items, not 3D printed like thermoplastics in, I don't think it's going to work.
But then this buy a laser.
Lasers aren't expensive.
Go buy from Xtool. They're the Bambu Lab of lasers. You pay extra money. It does just work. And I hate to say it, but it's the only laser brand that I've ever used that is even remotely affordable, that their software is actually decent and doesn't make me want to vomit and try to have it work with Lightburn. While it does work with Lightburn, it's not needed. Their stock software is actually pretty good. And that's where Bambu sits in this industry too, right? Their stock software is pretty good. Now, they just stole everybody else's and put it together. Now it's open source, but it wasn't initially. We have to remember that. A thief that apologizes and still all of a sudden gives credit, they're still a thief, right? They're still a thief. But Bambu has brought some pretty big things to the software side since playing by the rules. So that's a big deal.
Yeah, I don't think this laser's a good decision. The thing that also concerns me a bit is, now I'll give credit where credit is due. Bambu Lab does exceptional industrial design. They optimize everything to an nth degree. And adding a swappable head with pogo pins,
huge.
It inherently comes with a lot of space limitations, where if you imagine your head is just a brick and then your nozzle comes off it at the bottom, so you've got this lovely L shape. Well, Bambu Lab know that, and they put all the motion components below and above that. So it sits lovely within that confine. So
Oh
it's the
yeah,
smallest it can physically be. Adding pogo pins, however, to remove the object means you're going to get bits of dead space
a little
that you
bit.
might not have otherwise. And I'm concerned that adding the ultra quick disconnect might come at a cost of their industrial design. Now, it looks fantastic from the picture.
But ease of use, I'm okay with that. I am okay with a bit of a compromise on industrial design for ease of use. And I think the average user that is buying this would agree.
But I don't think the average user will buy this.
The
That's what
the
it's
average
like a
user that
mismatch in money.
would buy it,
Ah,
right? I agree. I think it's gonna be priced too high. In talking with that individual, we are both kind of skirting in the $2,000 to $3,000 range, so we're thinking like high twos, low threes, right? So
yeah.
probably we'll end up at like the 29.95 range, and then discounted somewhere to like 27.50. Now,
I think if it's more than 3 grand, I think they could sell it, but
it's gonna be
I
harder
don't I think the sell becomes very hard.
if
And
it's
not
more
even for
than
the functionality. I think it's entirely based on it looks plastic. And that's going to be a very hard sell at that point because you're going to look at it and go, well, that doesn't look industrial enough for the value for money. It's like, look at Stratasys. They've got it down to a T where you look at their machine and you go, oh, yes, that's 5 inches of glass. I don't care what the machine looks like. It's 5 inches of glass. You look at it and go, yeah, that's industrial. I don't question it.
but those machines come with an extra couple of zeros. To get
Yeah, but
that
it's not
five
the
inches of
money.
glass, you're
It's the
spending.
feel.
I understand that. But the market that I think Bambu is going after is the high end prosumer, small business, and light industrial, right? The X1E pierced into the industrial market in a way that I'm not certain they expected. Maybe they did. I don't know if they did. But it pierced into that market in a way that was a little unique. And there are people that are trading in their Stratasys printers for multiple Bambus because, again, they'll destroy them. They'll just crush them. Who cares? So,
So, actually, let me ask you a question. Does this feel more premium than a snap maker?
okay. So I have the Snapmaker A350, and I did not like it.
Oh no,
Um,
I should say I really dislike the snap makers. They did too many things and none of them good.
right.
But from an industrial design perspective, just like this is the first time you've opened it from the box, you haven't used it, you don't know the quality, you only know the brand ethos, and you look at both of them next to each other, which one would you say feels more expensive, more premium?
The Snapmaker is built with more premium materials, right?
Yeah.
They're using more metals, but Bambu has shown us the power of high end injection molding,
Hmm.
right? Bambu really brought on this. It's like the panels on the X1. Some of them are metal, some of them are plastic, um, but they're nice. And again, I don't think maybe they are trying to push toward like the Stratasys F series, like the F170, 270, and 370. But like the Prusa XL has kind of
Yeah.
been that de facto comparison for quite a few years against it. And sure, maybe they're trying to go after that. But I don't think if you're looking to buy a Stratasys printer that you were ever likely considering the F series, right? You're looking at the J series, like the J55, to get your full color J35, or you're looking at the big industrial FDM, like the what the hell, the freaking
I'm trying to remember the name.
Fortis
I
line,
literally saw them
Fortis line, the
last week.
Fortis line.
Do you know how much money they waste per day in electricity?
Oh, quite a bit, especially if you
I
got to
got
keep them warm.
told to keep them warm, not even printing, £300 a day in electricity.
How many watts?
Three phase only.
If they're well sealed, it shouldn't be that bad.
Apparently, they're not sealed at all. They vent constantly, and half the challenge is keeping the building cool once you put them in.
Gotta love it.
Actually insane. And this was at a very high-end defense-orientated company. They had a massive warehouse with 5 printers in the middle of it. And it was just empty space. And they were like, "Yup, everything is there." And each one's 300 quid a day. That is actually insane.
It's
The price per kilowatt here is between 14 and 25 pence per kilowatt. Industrial does get a lot cheaper though. And a lot of the industrial units in the UK are now mostly subsidized by solar panels. Because as much as it is rainy over in the UK, we also have quite a lot of sun. We flip-flop between
well,
both.
rainy doesn't mean that solar panels don't work. They just are less efficient.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I worry that by trying to have the machine do more than one thing, it will do both of those things poorly, or at least less good if they didn't make dedicated machines. And like from a business standpoint, I want dedicated machines if I have the space. If I don't have the space, yes, machines that can do multiple things have value. But if I have dedicated space, being able to have dedicated machines means I have less downtime in between the jobs. So instead of then having to wait for the hot ends to cool, pull them off, put the laser module on, because I assume the hot ends come out, laser module goes on.
It has to. It has to.
It should. Then you can't run the printer anymore. Now I got to run the laser. Then you can take the laser off to print again. I don't see the use case here where that works for me. Now, we don't have a use case where we're lasering parts, because if we need to serialize parts for some reason, we just do it in the model.
Yeah.
Right? We just do it in the model. Pain in the butt, don't get me wrong, because you need a different file for every number. But my turnover is a lot faster. So, I don't know.
I think this might be a misstep. I find it cool. I like having the ability to do stuff.
The nice thing is, it's an accessory you don't have to buy.
Yeah.
So if you don't want it, don't buy it. Right? There will be people that live in an apartment that want a laser and a 3D printer but don't have space for both. Well, they're probably not going to spend $3,000 on this. So maybe, yeah, it could be a misstep. I legitimately don't know.
I think they would have knocked out the park, even if they did. Like, let's remove features. No laser. Like, get rid of that from the start. No laser. Let's get rid of the high temp AMS. Just get rid of that.
Oh, but I like that.
No. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying let's think about what they could have sold as a product. So no high temp AMS, no laser. Just the printer, regular AMS with 2 heads to reduce material usage, and a bigger print volume. That would have sold like hotcakes. Yeah. So and then you add the high temp AMS. That immediately puts it to industrial-esque mindset. And I think they might have project creeped.
So here's the other thing we don't know. We don't actually know if that laser belongs on that machine.
Ooh. Possible secondary leak? New product?
Possible flat surface law problem. There's a flat surface up there. That laser could be to a Bambu Lab laser that they're working on.
You know what?
Everybody's that would be quite interesting. Because of the green glass, which I think it's a safe assumption. It's a safe assumption because of the green glass. But it's Bambu. They're green. Their color is green. So, do we think the laser's for the printer, or do we think the laser's for something else?
I'm looking at the door now. I think it is actually glass. The way that it mounts on the bottom runner looks glued. and you wouldn't glue with glass. You wouldn't glue with acrylic.
You could.
You would, you can, but the gluing process is slightly more expensive than a fixing process.
Yeah, but it's also much stronger than a fixing process. Fixing process tends
Mm.
to spider crack and fail over time. And
But
the
they also
last
have a
thing you'd
metal
want,
reinforcement bar at the bottom and the top.
the last thing you would want in an industrial printer is for your front window to break.
That is true. Oh man, the amount of times I've seen people with our XL and the door is scratched to oblivion because they knock it all the time. I'm so glad we didn't go with glass because there would be so many broken glass doors.
If you want to solve that problem, you can provide like clear sheets for people to put on the doors, and when they scratch them, just peel them off.
I don't think they'd care. I think they would never put it on because they'd assume they never don't make the mistake and then make the mistake.
Yep, yep. And so,
But yeah, I'd
re-
like to think this is acrylic. I think acrylic would be the correct choice for this type of machine.
I'd like to see polycarb. That's a bit of a pickiness from me.
If it's high temp on the inside, like heated, it should be polycarb.
It
Acrylic
should be.
will warp and soften anywhere above like 50 degrees over extended periods of time.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to seeing this come out.
This
I
machine better
really,
have
I
an
want it.
internal chamber heater, though. It better. Because if it's going to cost more than the X1E, it needs to have minimum all the features of the X1 Enterprise and more. And remember, the X1E is $2,500. Right? So that's why this machine, I really think, is going to, or maybe it's like $2,250. I don't know.
It doesn't matter. That makes the machine like the $3,000 mark minimum. Like they can't price it too close to the X1E.
No, because then the comparisons to the X1E are too much there. And this I think that's going to upset people the most. Even though Bambu said this one's going to be more expensive, we know that this one is going to be fully locked down, right? They have been completely open about the fact that all of this new ecosystem changes that they're doing, the thing that made you Mr. Pretty Boy on this channel, is because of that, that new firmware. And all of that is for these new lines of industrial grade printers. This one's going to be locked down. It's going to piss the small business people off. I think it's going to upset the print farms more than Bambu thinks, because I don't think they're going to want to pay to use software when they could go with another brand that won't charge them. And even if that is a brand that takes 6 months to a year to clone the H2D, we don't know.
And to be fair, they're gonna clone it.
Oh yeah.
Like if Bambu Lab can get away with the definitely not Ultimaker nozzle system right here,
I think they're gonna get sued.
It's gonna get cloned.
The worst part is, right, Ultimaker's partially owned by Stratasys.
I know. I was thinking
And
that,
it's like,
how is Stratasys
have you
not
learned-
sitting back just like, yes, do it, release that machine.
Like, as soon as this picture was leaked, there was like, Mr. Burns, release the hounds, release the IP lawyers. I haven't seen, and so, they would obviously have to have a new lawsuit. But for those not following that lawsuit, I will check to see if anything has
settled.
happened.
Did they settle with it?
Nope. No. So the big problem right now, and this was on January 3rd, it is a motion.
Oh, that's my birthday. Yay.
Nice. It is so there was a motion to dismiss for failure to join indispensable party filed by Bambu, because, and this is truly the biggest misstep I've ever seen from a company, Stratasys didn't include Bambu Lab US in their lawsuit.
What?
I don't know if they missed it, they forgot it, they deliberately didn't put them in there, and that's what this motion dismisses. Like, you're suing us over things where you're not even suing the US company. So there was a reply. And then there have been 2 notices of attorney appearance, and those were back on January 23rd. Um, since then, there has been no further. Excuse me. Since then, there has been no further like updates on this, so not exactly certain.
Hmm.
But that is the most, according to court listener, that is the most recent update on that case. So I feel like Bambu looks and says Stratasys is a threat because of their lawyers, but at the same time, maybe they just don't care. I don't know. This whole thing with, I mean, okay, pogo pins on the hot end, we can make an assumption. Ultimaker has had that for years,
Yeah.
right? With their cores. Okay. This with the nozzles going up and down, that's Ultimaker all day.
Oh yeah.
Ultimaker's not open source. Not that side of it, at least.
I'm pretty sure that nozzle height pattern is Ultimaker's through and through. Like they own the patent for variable height nozzles. I'm pretty sure they also own the patent for hot swap cores
They might.
in that as well. But obviously there's ways around patents, which is why it's probably not come up yet. But this is very close to the toes of Ultimaker. Even the bed style. The bed is rectangular in the width. That's the Ultimaker style of bed.
Prusa has had that for
flaps
years.
at the front.
Prusa's had this for years.
The bed actual plate where you've got the two handholds at the front instead of the one in the middle.
Prusa has that too.
Does it? I thought it was one
No.
in the middle.
No.
Oh, I am wrong.
No, in fact, they're a little bit weird. So the bed is square. The handholds are actually on the heat bed itself, but then it's angled at the edges so you can grab the corners of the plate and pull the plate off. So that's how Prusa does it, which I think is the most material efficient way of doing it. But it depends on what the backside of the Bambu looks like. So why am I yawning? Sorry.
Yes, go to sleep. Let me do the stream on my own. No, I shouldn't have said that. I'm going to put myself in hot water now.
Yeah, I can just turn my camera off and.
No, don't do that. All how many viewers? 211 will watch me die on the spot.
They'll watch an Englishman cringe to death. Yes, yes. You know, the thing that we haven't discussed on this is the impending trade war in the United States. There's currently a 25% tariff. So if they bring out this machine, call it $4,000 for easy math. Okay, $4,000.
Yep.
That $4,000 machine just cost you $5,000.
Okay. Side thought, because
Okay.
this is the only thing that makes tariffs actually work. Is there a competitor which you can go to do the same thing that you would need this machine to do?
Prusa XL.
Okay, other than them, because they can do a lot of things. Is there a local US?
Oh, not in the US. No, God, no. No, unfortunately, the US manufacturing of 3D printers is not. It's not there.
I don't think the tariff are going to affect it. It might slow down the sales initially.
Correct. I think it's going to, because of the price, it's going to impact things. Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't think it's actually going to stop the amount of sales. I think if you graphed it and you had this spike on release, I think it's just going to stretch the spike out. Like the total sales will be the same. I just think it will be a slower burn.
Yeah.
Because some of the people are now, oh, it's now at 5 instead of 4, or it's a little bit more. They'll be umming and ahhing and then realize there's still no alternative. Because the only alternative I can actually think for this machine is a bloody snap maker. And that is not good at anything.
So that assumes the laser is for this machine.
Yes.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't, then you're looking at what? Ultimaker as your only real alternative?
Ultimaker's not made in the US.
I thought they import direct. They've got special.
Oh, they've got resellers, yeah.
Yeah.
But okay, so do most other, like, go get an SV08 and put a changer on it, right?
True.
Like, the AD5X, even though it's much smaller, that's
But the type of person buying it is looking at the industrial side. They're never going to look at those cheaper machines. So unless the only actual printer I can think of is an Ultimaker with the dual head multi-material swapping ability, I don't think there's a competitor. At which point the tariff won't matter.
Well, if it takes the price over $5,000, it does.
Oh yeah, because then you need multiple quotes, right?
No, well, you often will need
Or is it
multiple
sign-off?
quotes. It becomes higher than what we call a P card purchase. So most large scale companies, the purchasers have a limit. That limit is often 5,000 US dollars. So if you are a business and you are trying to do business with other businesses, try to keep your price under $5,000. And that is after tax, tag, title, dealer fees, and all of that. Like out the door, under $5,000, because then they can just hand you a credit card. There's no extra BS for you to get paid, and it makes it so much easier. Like, we have an industry that we work in where I make it so that the end price is a skosh under $5,000 after tax, after everything, because of that. I should charge them more money. I don't want to wait 90 days to get my money every single time. I will take the reduction in net profit to get the money now. That's more important to me. So there is that.
Lil Apatch came up with a good thing.
Raise 2D.
I got you in front. Yeah, let's go. Raise 2D. I forgot they existed. To be honest, very much forgot they existed.
Yeah, but they're not made in America.
They're not made in America. They're still made in China. They do have twin head, but they're not the same technology, and they're kind of sucky at times.
I would like to check out the latest Raise machines. I don't have experience with anything past the Pro 2. So my whole experience with them is a little bit off. But the Pro 2, for its time, or the 2 Pro, the Raise N2 Pro.
Yeah.
It was a good machine.
They were good when they came out.
It was good for its time. I don't know how well Raise has kept up with the market as time has moved on.
So I should say my experience is also I don't own one, but I have talked with multiple service engineers in the UK that maintain them for other companies.
Yeah.
The high-speed add-on ruined a lot of the machines because it wasn't designed for those speeds.
No, yeah, the machine wasn't
and it pushed them to oblivion. And the other side is they seem very fickle. Now, obviously, this isn't the new one.
I have seen people
a
like
lot
they
of
either
them
love it or hate it.
Yeah, it's like Marmite. It's either you get one that works and it'll work forever.
It's like Marmite.
Or you hate it and it keeps breaking and it keeps having issues. And there doesn't seem to be much of a middle ground in that. I would be very interested to see their new machine. A lot of the technology has matured, and they're the ones that implemented it in the first place for their scale and their style. So I think they're in a good position to probably have a competitor to this, but they're in the wrong section of the world. They have the same problem with the tariff.
Yep. Vision Miner makes a machine in the US, the 22 IDEX, but it's $16,000, so we can just move that off the list. There's no way this Bambu machine is even remotely close to that in price. If it is, they're morons. Bambu is going to lose. They will lose.
If they don't, I will eat a Benchy on camera. Just saying.
If it's priced close to the 22 IDEX, you'll eat a Benchy on camera?
I'll eat a Benchy on camera.
I mean, I've got edible benchies right now. I can go.
I was just going to go full plastic.
Oh no, I've
already got enough microplastics in me.
I've got Cocoa Press benchies. I can just eat a benchy that way.
Lucky.
I don't own a Cocoa Press. They're just old Cocoa Press benchies that I've had for a while. They're old. So I don't know how safe it is, but
yeah, if this printer is more than $6,000, they've committed business suicide. There's no way people will buy it over that.
It will be a much tougher sale. So there's Lulzbot. dude, here, look, like, there's my Taz 6, right? Like, it needs to get out of this room. I was like one of the first buyers of the Taz 6. Paid full price for it way back in the day. Loved that machine. For its time, it was amazing. Big build volume, reasonably fast, tons of extruder options. I even have the more extruder, the one with the 1.2
Oh,
millimeter nozzle. Yeah.
I mean, that was industrial Prusa.
Oh, it
It
really
was
was.
amazing. It was
Still
really well built.
did back then and still hate the iGoose. Don't like it. It produces way too much, you know, way too much flexure and all of it. But I don't, like, I don't know who said it. I don't see it in my scroll anymore. But, you know, the idea of the tariffs are that it forces or incentivizes manufacturers to stand up USA manufacturing. And sure,
That's what it's supposed to do.
it's what it's supposed to do, but and for some it will. For some it will, but for a lot it won't. And what happens is that it hurts those that had trouble affording things regularly. It hurts them the most because now they're spending more money, right? Like $6 for a dozen eggs is difficult if you're expecting them to be $2. If you have somebody else do your shopping for you, you probably won't even notice that eggs went up by 300%. Now, I would say that if you're in a position where that kind of thing is difficult, head out into the country, like outside of your area, where you could eat a lot of peaches. That's a great song. But find farmers that have chickens or ducks. In our area, there's a few of them, and they've got these honor system things with the eggs sitting out there. The thing is, these eggs are normally not washed, which is great. It means they last.
That's good.
So
That's how they
much
should be.
longer. But you should wash them before you use them, just to clean them off. Because like there's normally poo and feathers and crap on them. Just wash the outside of the egg just a little bit. Just rinse it, you know? And you can get it for...
I'm not getting involved in this in superior European egg production standards.
Look, okay, these are from farmers. We don't talk about food safety. We just go and get it. And they're always honor system, which I love, right? Because that's someone saying, I trust you. Let's have a relationship based on trust. And I can find dozen eggs out here that are like free range chicken eggs for $4 to $5 a dozen of like
That's good.
proper good eggs. And yes,
They will
washed
taste
eggs
so much better.
Oh, they're so good. And they're normally quite a bit larger, and you often get the double yolks out of the duck eggs, which are fun.
Also, here's a pro tip for anyone making it. Get a little bit of garlic salt and just put it on the yolk. Not the white, but just the yolk as you're cooking it. Oh,
I need to
it
make
permeates
Amber
through.
a little belt holster for garlic salt because it is her favorite seasoning. She
It's
puts
so good.
like for her, garlic salt is Frank's Red Hot. She puts that shit on everything.
It just works though. If it
does.
didn't work, I wouldn't be doing it.
All right. Tad, one of our engineers who I guess probably isn't really doing a lot of work for us these days, but he turned me on to QP mayo, but turned me on to putting it on pizza.
Yes. Yes.
With
Yes.
garlic salt.
Oh, I've not tried it with garlic salt.
It's a thing. It's a whole thing. Try it. You can try it. Yeah.
QP's so good.
Don Hunt said it 2017-2019 eggs at Aldi's here in Ohio was 59 cents a dozen, limit 2. They moved to $1.49 in late 2019. I do a lot of my shopping at Aldi's. One, so I can make an Aldi's nuts joke every single time I go there, and it never gets old. But two, because I firmly believe they have some of the best pricing on produce and normal groceries. It's not the cheapest, but I think it's some of the best. It's also, sometimes the quality is a little rough, although on their fresh fruits and veggies, often the best quality. $5.97 a dozen. I was there yesterday. $5.97 a dozen, live in
That
June.
is a lot.
It's a lot of money for eggs.
That's
I
a
think
lot.
it's better to befriend someone who's got chickens or ducks and hook them up, trade some services, especially if you've got a 3D printer, exchange some services, make custom parts for their chicken coops. Exchange of services, to me, is the best way to do business, you know, and then ain't no one got to know about it, you know, ain't nobody got to know about it. Sorry for you that can hear the pings from Google Chat. Amber keeps messaging me. She was gonna go skating to the Circle K to get dark beer. It's 20-mile-an-hour winds. So take a bed sheet with you, man. Well, it's only going against you half of the way. You're always a sweaty potato, though. So she came back, and now she's gonna drive down to the Circle K. Yeah, it is. It is quite warm. It is 84 degrees Fahrenheit outside. Yeah, no, it's... Have fun, kiddo. Are we going to move into the country, going to eat a lot of peaches? I don't like you. She doesn't like peaches. Peaches come in a can. They were put there by a man. Oh. Oh, she really likes my peaches and wants to shake my tree, apparently. Don't shake. There's a tree outside you can go shake if you want, but it already fell over. Yeah.
That's for the $10 tier premium Patreon subscription.
All of those inside jokes.
That.
All of those inside jokes exist exclusively for the Patreon. All right. Any final thoughts on? I'm gonna just clip that. Is there any final thoughts on this machine? I think it's gonna sell. But yeah, the price point's really gonna matter.
I think if they get the price point down, it'll be fine, and it will sell like hotcakes. I don't see them selling multiple, like say 10 or 15 to people. This is going to be like a 2 at most IMO. Yeah, I think it will be nice to see how it comes out. That's the main thing. It depends on their video and how they announce it and what the vibe is with how they're selling it. If they're trying to sell this as a do-it-all machine and it's cheap, then it'll probably sell a lot.
It's not going to be cheap.
But it can't be, because it's going to piss off half their industrial users.
It can't be cheap. It can't be cheap.
If, for whatever reason, they ended up buying patent licensing to allow them to steal Ultimaker's technology, then it can never be.
Shit.
Look, I can pretend they're a nice company at times and then be wrong and then just be correct. But I'm going to say this is $3,500. I would put this at $3,500, and I think it would sell marginally okay. Like, it will not be as popular as the Prusa XL by any chance.
I think it will be. I actually think it is going to cut into
but they do have market share, so
I think it's going to cut into the XL market. If it's anything under $4,000, it's going to cut into the XL pretty significantly. And what it's going to do, people that have a bamboo farm weren't ever looking at the Prusa XL likely anyways. It's going to be the bigger machine on bamboo farms, and I think that is exactly what they're going for. I think they're going to hit it. Kisker said, what if it's only $2,000? It physically will not be. The X1E is more expensive than that, so it will not be that. It will be more expensive than the X1E. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Kisker, if I'm wrong, I'll give you free access to the Discord if you aren't already in there. And if you are in there, I don't know, turn off your membership or something and you'll stay in.
I think the laser, misstep, gut feel, complete useless.
But then we have fume extraction that we have to deal with, and that's a whole nother bag of chips.
Yeah, and it coats everything. There's a maintenance issue when you're lasering.
Yeah, talk about cleaning the cameras on your X1. My God, you'd be cleaning it every damn day.
I think the e-stop is nice. I don't think it's needed.
I would like.
Now we have an e-stop on our front of our screen, and it is a digital e-stop. So it's not a physical button, but it's a big red button on every UI. You tap it, resets the motherboard. It's over. The picture, it doesn't look like it's a Bambu Lab design style. It's a bit too curvy. So that's a bit of a gut feel, but I don't know that.
I don't mind. Secondly, well, the curvy matches the X1 that has the curved edges on it.
Yeah. I like e-stops. I just don't see them useful for non-pure industrial 3D printing.
I also want the e-stop to be a mountable location on the machine. I don't want it to just be
Be a dongle.
on the side. Yeah, because if
If it was
worst case
magnetized and
scenario,
you can
you
put it
go to
anywhere.
hit it, you got an oh shit moment, you go to hit it, and instead of clicking the button, you push it accidentally, and or you hit it at an angle and it doesn't click the button all the way, but now that entire controller is moving away from you at Mach Jesus, and now you have to go try to get it while everything is on fire, everything is burning down. Like, all of that is more work. Speaking of fire and burning things down, completely unrelated, if any of you have experience with building off-grid homes, off-grid anything, I want to talk to you. Please reach out to me. Use the info at 3dmusketeers.com and just let me know that you have experience in this. I need to talk to more people about it. I am working on my designs for everything, so I want to make sure that I'm doing everything right. I'm reworking my designs to fit better safety standards, but I want to work with more people that have experience in this to get multiple opinions from experts in the industry. So, yeah, info at 3dmusketeers.com. Yep, just use that. Okay.
End feel, AMS HD, that's the main thing. I don't care about the printer anymore. That is going to sell more than everything else.
I have to agree. Anyone that has a Bambu X or P series, if it is backwards compatible like Bambu says it's going to be,
it's almost an instant buy.
Yeah, that to me is the win. And in fact would get me to use the Bambu more often for materials that require drying. It just would. Like, hilariously, I've been using the Cheaty Plus 4 as it's printing to also dry materials. Because I often don't use the full Z height. So
might as well.
We were doing over 10 kilos of printing an orange PETG, and I was buying in the 2 kilos of Prusa orange from Printed Solid, who's our filament sponsor. There's a link in the pinned comment if you want to enter to win. And if you're watching this back, you missed it. The part was high enough that I could put a 2 kilo spool inside of it to dry it, make sure that it was dry, while it was 10 pieces per kilo. So while those 5 pieces per kilo, so 10 pieces per roll, while those pieces were printing, the filament was never actually wet, but it didn't hurt. So it was pretty cool. I liked it.
Yeah. That's gut feel.
Yeah.
In short, I expect expectations, and I expect nothing else.
I am hoping for good here.
It could be good. It could be.
So I guess my final thought is Bambu is Ronda Rousey right now. Okay, so Ronda Rousey before she had her first loss, right? Undefeated. She would fight anybody. We were going to work with her. Like, we were supposed to scan Ronda back in the day when she was, the top female fighter in the world. We were set to meet with her the week after a fight that ended up being her first loss.
Ooh.
When she had her first loss, her entire marketing of I'm the undefeated, female fighter and all that, it's gone. You're no longer undefeated. And that she canceled on us, and we never heard. Because your entire marketing was built around the fact that you were undefeated. Well, now it's gone. So Bambu's marketing has been around the fact that they make affordable, high value, and for the vast majority of people, good 3D printers. This machine is breaking some of that, but can they do it in a way that doesn't alienate their current user base and have them say, does Bambu not care about me anymore? It's the interesting one for me.
Yeah.
Knowing Bambu and the fact that they have been the marketing powerhouse in this industry, like, if you are looking for a masterclass in how to do influencer marketing, just
Look at Bambu.
copy Bambu. And honestly, if you're another manufacturer, just admit it, because there is respect where it's due, and Bambu really deserves it. Bambu really deserves the respect for their marketing. Now, they're doing the same thing that DJI did, so it's just a copy paste of DJI, but
it's working.
Nobody has ever done anything like that in this industry, ever. And it has worked insanely well. Like, I've seen Bambu printers with woodworkers that I watch. I'm like,
yeah,
when the hell did you get a 3D printer? Oh, it's sponsored by Bambu. That's how you got it. So yes, masterclass in marketing. So my assumption is that it will land a little tough on their current audience, people that aren't in the business class era of it. But those that are in the business class area, I think they're going to knock it out of the park, because they seem to very much be that one shot, one kill kind of bolt action sniper style of work here. And there is,
I mean, even the
respect.
picture in this, like these shoes, I want to print shoes. This is nice.
So print shoes.
Yeah, but I'm lazy. I can't be bothered to do it yet.
Oh, okay.
There's a
Zellerfeld's been doing it for years.
Look, the point being is, like, they know who they're targeting with just the photo on its own. Like, if this was intentional, show TPU, oh god, mirrors here, TPU with a hard support, like that sells the machine to most people on its own. Like, it just does. And for the industrial person, it will sell like hotcakes. It is just a bigger Bambu Lab with slightly more material flexibility, which is all most people were asking for. Is,
yeah,
hey, I want a bigger Bambu Lab with slightly more material flexibility. Add on that high temp unit. Oh, they don't need anything else. Anything else is free extras. So it'll be really interesting to see how they market this and what their like announcement video is, because that will tell me if they knew what they were doing or they completely missed the boat.
We'll see. Only time will tell. And if they're going to maintain what they've told us all already, they've got about 2 weeks to do it.
Fun.
So let's shift over to the Prusa XL, and yeah, look at you, Mr. Fancy over here.
There we go.
With this new stuff with the XL. I am really excited. So a lot of people bought the Prusa XL because it can do multi-material, it can do multicolor, it's a big printer. There are many reasons to buy the XL. If you buy it for its part cooling, you've made a mistake. It does not have the greatest part cooling. In fact, it is poor, unfortunately. If you run it fast, its part cooling is not great. But now we're seeing all of these new kind of teasers for non-3D printer tool heads on the XL. Like, we can see the drag knife vinyl cutter. There was one with a marker, which is interesting. I called out Ellie because I want a Cocoa Press hot end for the XL. I think that would be super freaking cool. But I love how Prusa did this, where there's some teasing involved in this, how we can see it, how we can see that these are not renders. This is actual video of actual pieces working. And like the marker that we see here, I would have loved to see it like right on a t-shirt or something, because like we can already do zero gap interface layers with multi-material, but this allows for zero gap interface without multi-material. Now, is there value to that? You know, maybe. The vinyl cutter, I think, is super cool.
I
Again,
really like that one.
it's cool. It's one of those nice to have. Probably won't personally ever use it because I think a dedicated vinyl cutter is not too expensive these days.
No.
Um, and the thing that we don't know yet, which is the most important thing out of all of this, software implementations.
That's going to be the killer. It's why when E3D did their tool changer and they were doing additive and subtractive on the same printer, they were doing laser heads, they were doing basically everything that we're seeing in this video. It's the software and the post processor that killed adoption because well, let's take it at the moment. Now, we don't know how Prusa is going to integrate.
I
Let's call
assume
it
they're going to do
the
quite a
pen.
good job of it because it's Prusa and they develop their own damn software.
Agreed. But imagine you had to do it on your own. Like, what would you do? Well, you're now making a post processor script. You're then adding an injectable. You're gonna have to tell the slicer at some point where to draw it,
Mm-hmm.
if you even can do that. Like, there's so many like steps. It becomes challenging. And I don't doubt for once Prusa will knock it out the park. They've got way too much care and enthusiasm to do a bad job at this.
I agree. Um,
Yeah.
I I would love so like I've always wanted more out of the XL because yeah, it's cool to have 5 heads. I really only use 2 or 3 at a time. In fact, my Prusa XL 5 tool head, and I assume most of those that have a 5 tool head is I have 3 at point 4, 2 at point 6. I assume a lot of people do that same thing. So that I can have multi-material for both big and small nozzles, and I can do multicolor at point 4, because you're probably not going to do multicolor at point 6. And that kind of thing to me is valuable. Now, would I take out head 3 and replace it with a marker? Especially if I could do this like material deposition to not have to do multi-material layers.
Mm.
Yeah, I would. Uh, Specifically because I have had issues with the purge towers falling over. I've gotten better at it. Like I kind of mess with it a little bit. Um, I I do like it.
I would be interested to see where this can go because the current things shown off are teasers, and they're probably not all that's been cooking. Knowing
Oh yeah,
the mad scientists behind the scene, they've probably got a lot. I would love to see a camera or like what was the term of it? Like you know, in a flatbed scanner, they've got the structured single, very thin field of view cameras, so they get no
mm-hmm,
warp on it.
mm-hmm.
Just something like that. You can then suddenly start doing QC mid print. So if you've got like a hole you need to guarantee is a certain size, take a picture mid print. Now that is an industrial high power thing. Like you can't get that in most printers at the moment. And all of a sudden, if you've got that,
No, yeah. The closest thing you get is Mark Forge with the X7 series and above. They've got Blacksmith, which is a multi-camera array that does
mm,
triangulation to determine if your printer is operating properly in in the method that it is needed to,
yeah.
and it will automatically adjust extrusion rates and things like that. You know, I I would love like some of the dumb things. Like I would do like t-shirt designs with an XL with a bunch of markers because that's funny for me. The thing I would like to see, this is a weird one. I'm going to have a bunch of extra tools. Can I hot swap the tools?
That would be interesting.
Or more specifically, can I cold swap tools?
That would also be interesting.
Russell says an inkjet printer head. No, I don't want that.
That would be
God,
awful.
no. That would.
Do you like clogs on a regular 3D printer? Times it by 10,000 because now you've got it on an inkjet
I've got a
head.
bag full of clogged inkjet heads from my full color sandstone printer. Just no. No.
No.
It just all of that is just no. Always out of cyan. Always. Get a laser. Get a full color laser. I literally bought a full color laser printer. It is over 10 years old. It works great. I do need to clean the rollers, but I don't care. For $60, and it had brand new toner in it. I have not put a dime into this machine other than paper. And sure, it's yellowing. I don't care.
Aren't we all yellowing over time? It's the microplastics.
With how much orange I've been printing lately, it's definitely turning fluorescent. Yeah, I love seeing extra compatibility. And here's what I'm curious about. Is Prusa going to finally release some of this for the XL? Like the entire like system needed for the docking and exchanging? Is that going to end up getting open sourced? I doubt it.
Nice.
I think we're just going to see like the female side of the dock get released, and then you can attach stuff to the back of it. But I want to see like pick and place stuff.
Pick and place will be huge. That will be fun.
Hear me out.
Okay.
You want a heavy print, right? Everyone wants a heavy print. Great. I want a head that dispenses sand or lead or steel shot. Okay. In BB form or in granular form, right? And then I want another head with a either hot glue gun or epoxy.
Oh.
That will come in behind it and cover it up.
I like
Hell,
that.
resin. Put resin and then one with UV light. No, I mean, the one with resin could also be UV light. I can just hear Jean of Proper Printing giggling in the background. Yes, resin printers on FDM. Resin is toxic. I'm legally required to say that at this point. But when you start making tool heads available to a printer that has widespread adoptability, right? The tool changer from E3D was cool. It did not get adopted. It was seldomly used, unfortunately. But I think the XL is much heavier adopted. And I would love...
One of the biggest benefits of the XL is also just its print volume.
Yes!
Like, you wouldn't want to put a shirt on E3D tool changer because it's such a small area you can work with. This, you could put the entire shirt on and you could do big things. And that works great because now on the drag knife part, you just get big bits. You don't have to be confined to a small area. Like, I do think this is the right machine to show off this capability. I would love to see additive subtractive again because I honestly think that is the epitome. No, that's not the right word. Not epitome. Epitome? The top?
No,
the
epitome.
best?
Epitome is
Oh,
right.
is it? Oh,
Yep,
I'm
epitomes.
dyslexic.
I've
The
said
epitome
epitome
of
before, and
additive.
Amber doesn't let me live it down, so you're fine.
Yeah, but I think that's like the best of what you could get for additive in general is a machined surface for every layer. You don't have to worry about any imperfections because you machine it flat.
It is so messy though, and
yeah,
now
but
we
it'll be
have the other
cool.
problem: power.
Oh. Okay, I take that back.
Well, you could easily have an external power source, but yeah, I look at like vacuum, power, all of those things that involve the subtractive side of things, where it's like, it would be cool, but How about embedding of circuitry? Using conductive ink.
Conductive ink would be nice.
Conductive, like epoxy, right? I got quick dry mixing epoxy. Pinnacle, someone said as well. Like, dude, I would love to see that kind of stuff because it opens up embedded circuitry that is easier than a button cell and some wires and an LED.
Mm.
Right. And we don't have to play the video anymore. I think people get the idea.
Everyone is back to regular Jacob.
Regular Jacob, yeah.
Regular Jacob. Currently, the weather is still wet.
Mad Guy says deposition of metallic conductive filament. Yeah.
Yeah.
What about doing? Well, you could already do all that.
I think pick and place is a nice one. Pen
Yeah.
drawing is a nice one. Pen drawing is good because you could do it on multiple things. You swap the pen out with a conductive ink pen, you got a conductive ink drawing. You do it with a Sharpie, you can draw on a shirt. Like there's a lot of flexibility with that.
I don't know
Pick and
where it
place is nice
is.
because you can do it as weights. Like you could pick up pennies and put them in, or you could put nuts and embed things out, or magnets, though that might get a bit messy if it magnetizes
I have a
weirdly.
postcard from Andrew Sink. I don't know where it's somewhere. My desk is messy. That was all done with 3D printer and a pen. It's super cool.
That's cool.
Oh, there's Matt. I was wondering where
There's
he
Matt.
was. There's
It's
Matt with
come
the
through.
ARS 5000. Again, the cheaty way to make your thing be up on the top of the top chat for the entire thing. It says OMG regular Jacob. That's right. We got regular Jacob. We got white t-shirt Jacob even.
You got lazy, Jacob. This was straight in from work, Jacob.
Yeah, and apparently I am exhausted. I don't think I'm breathing enough. Okay. I don't know. Sippo Coffee says, what about a rotary knife for embedding letter into prints? Leader into prints? Leather. There, leather. Okay. Dude,
That could be
rotary
nice.
knife.
Remember, this is your daily reminder. Stay hydrated, not entirely with caffeine, but stay hydrated. There you go.
Yeah, yeah.
I forgot to drink today, so I'm slowly hydrating myself.
Yep. And it's also your reminder to like the stream, get subscribed if you haven't, and hey, if you want to donate to contribute to help keeping these streams ad-free, you can do that. Russell Milliner? I'm going to screw that up, sorry. Russell says magnet dispenser. Oh my god, yes.
I'm so afraid of putting magnets near my printers.
A machine
Just in general.
A machine that dispenses super glue or some sort of like quick dispensing glue drops a magnet into it. So you'd have to use a system that could deal with like, you know, like a line of small magnets, be able to slide it off. It would go down a little chute, right? So it would have to be pushed away so the magnetic force isn't there. And then an electromagnet to hold it and then release it at the right time. As long as your magnets are far enough apart,
they should be fine.
There's no reason that wouldn't work.
Now, I would be worried about the bed of the printer. I can't remember who did the video. There was a really good video about people putting magnets on PEI beds, and it just destroys the magnetic underlayer if you rub them at all, because you decharge it.
If you rub it, don't rub it.
Don't rub it. Don't do it.
From your Old Testament Catholic hosts. Oh man, who said it? GP said UD carbon fiber tape dispenser. Go in a completely different way. Poor man's Mark Forged. What if? Tars, man, you can't tell me what to do. What if you did continuous fiber? What if you made a tool head that could do continuous fiber?
It wouldn't even be that hard.
No, it wouldn't.
That's what the rubbing it is for.
That's one tool head. You don't want two. You want one that both extrudes filament and moves fiber. Now, the problem with that is going to be...
It's the merger. It's how you get the fiber in at the filament at the same time.
Well, no, you do it just post the filament. So the filament... The nozzles end up being right next to each other. And as soon as the filament goes down, the carbon fiber is right there to go with it, right? It won't cool. It won't... We literally...
No. Change it. Change your mind. Change your mind.
I'm changing my mind!
New print head. So it's a separate head. Just the fiber feed. But you have a little reservoir of super glue. Just right at the tip. So as it passes through, it coats the fiber, inlays it into the part, and it's also adhesively mated
I want it embedded in the plastic. That's the only way you get the benefits from it.
Well, most of the benefit is only in the X and the Y. There's no Z benefit. So as
If
long
it
as it's
is
there,
if it is a continuous fiber and it's not cut, there is benefit in the Z.
is there?
Yeah, because you're not cutting the fiber. It would be going around. Right? Well, no, I guess
No,
there's
no,
not
because it's
as much.
it's the interlayer. It's the
still the
interlayer that does
interlayer
it.
bonding. Yeah, that's fair. So you're probably losing Z strength, honestly.
Like if you just print, say, 3 walls and you remove your inner one, so you've only got 2 walls, and then you
Right.
glue the fiber in, I think it would do the same job. Just pack
It
it
might.
with the fiber, just loop it around over and over with a bit of super glue to hold it in place. The glue would also mate perfectly with the cavity, and it'll be really easy because you don't have to worry about the glue. It will just dry in place.
Weber Creative Music says super glue would instantly be degraded by the print temp since 200C is its degradation point. That's
Doesn't matter.
actually more of a benefit than a detractor. Yeah, it burns away.
The
Who
glue's only
cares?
really to hold it in place, and
Yeah,
that's it.
the glue's
Once
to...
the fiber is there, it's there.
Right. Huh. The Maker Factory says try using 3D AI print on Google. Not on stream, but maybe.
What is that? I've never heard
I'm
of that.
assuming it's a 3D image to AI 3D print something. I don't know.
I've already talked about it in a previous stream. I definitely think AI will be the future for 3D design, especially on 3D printers, because AI to CAD is just spicy math, but it's not there yet. So we'll see what happens, and we might do something on stream later, but not today.
I'm just making sure that they're not like... So we've had recently where some companies have been leaving comments on our videos and they're like self-promoting in our videos. I'm like, no, that's not what this is. So
actually, let me throw you a question.
My business. It's a pretty cool software. What?
Okay, I'm googling this.
Yep.
What was it called again?
3D AI print.
3D AI print. Look! You got 2 of us on stream.
I literally
Googling
Google that and it doesn't give me anything. Because the first thing that comes up is, oh, no, I need to search instead for 3D AI print. Oh, it's a cost calculator. Oh, I already do this crap. I don't need this.
I haven't even found it.
Yeah, 3DAIprint.com. This better not be you.
I like how the first thing we say is we've had some companies doing this,
Yeah.
and then the second thing we do is we're googling it. Let's go.
Yeah, let me make sure.
It looks interesting. The problem I will have with it is pricing for 3D prints is so difficult. You can't really automate it. It's more easy to do it on a per customer basis than doing it like geometry, where they will just estimate a price.
Yeah, and like now, so all you have is like a % markup. Your slicer can tell you all of this, all of it, right?
Yeah, just change the material price to like £100 a kilo.
Yeah, change your filament price to what you want your markup to be, and you're done.
Yep.
Right. So yeah, if you want to make $1,000 a kilo, then say my filament costs $1,000. Then you're done.
Yep. And remember, your slicer also works out electricity cost. So it can do it there. You can put your maintenance and electricity as one number per hour, and then have the material as its own markup and work out that way.
It
Actually, I should
does
probably
more.
set that up.
I will look at it further outside of the stream. But this is like one of those things where I've been doing it long enough that I have my own systems. Are they as efficient? No. But it's fine.
See, I've been doing it long enough to know I should just ask Grant what he thinks.
That's fair. Yeah.
But I do have a question, just complete side tangent.
No.
Viral marketing with the stupid ARS money red super chat. Is that a valid way to do stupid viral marketing?
Absolutely.
Go on someone's stream, pay 50 pence, and be like, "Hey, check out this product."
Because ARS 5,000, what's that worth? It's not worth a lot. ARS 5,000 USD. It's $4.71. It's not even $5. So
That's
it's
brilliant.
sub $5, and it will be up there the rest of the chat or the rest of the stream, because YouTube says that's a big number, good. Yeah, it's around. It is. if you are trying, if you, so let's say you're on a stream with a big streamer, you know, let's say you're like in a spiffing Brit stream or something like that, you know, people that have hundreds of thousands of viewers. Yeah, giving money in ARS or other currency that has very, 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 very high numbers, like Zimbabwe dollars, right? It's 10 million Zimbabwe dollars, something like that. That kind of thing is, that is easy viral marketing. You will piss people off eventually, but I believe, yeah, if I click it, it says I can pull it up. OMG regular Jacob. Yeah. And that will be up there the rest of the there's no, and there's like as a creator, can I hide it? I can remove it.
Okay.
It doesn't,
so you got to do this fine line of,
it doesn't
don't
remove
make an
the
obvious
money.
advert.
Yeah, it doesn't remove the money, but anyways, yes, great viral marketing. You heard it here first, kids. Yeah, I see so many once you're able to just let this idea breathe and push a little bit with the XL, like as soon as I let the really smart people do things, there's going to be a lot of opportunity on the XL.
It's
like,
all going to come down to the software, I think. The software implementation will be the killer.
Hey, you really want a laser on your printer? Great. Add a head on the XL. Enclose
I think it'll be easier on the
with
XL.
the right acrylic. With the right acrylic, I don't think it would be easier.
I think it'll be easier.
Pogo pins are easier. Sorry, they're easier.
Yeah, but making the pogo pins yourself is annoying. Like buying them in and soldering up the connector, that's annoying.
Well, okay, yes. I would assume that a 10-watt laser can run on, as long as you have a converter to get it to the power that it needs. The XL, each tool head's like 60 watts max or something.
Yeah.
There's a ton.
Just buy a cheap Chinese like black like rectangular laser diode and just slap it onto a head and you're done.
Should work. Just don't look at laser with remaining good eye, right?
It's okay. Eyes grow back. We all know that.
I guess Matt. Wait, that's Matt's actual currency. Matt said,
Really?
I will gladly use my shitty currency for bad memes. Matt, is that your actual currency? I thought you were trolling this whole time. I mean, look, if you want to troll, the best way to do it is with money. Let me tell you, is the best way to do it. Oh, there's Shane at CZK 200. Shame old Shane saying CZK 200. Damn, Grant, friendship fees are plummeting. That is, wait, that's a lot.
That's on. Like $10. It's orange as well, so it's $10 minimum.
Isn't that a lot? It's 8.
Yeah, Matt's saying that's his actual currency. Oh my god.
That's actual currency? I didn't know that.
That's kind of cool.
The more you know. And knowing's half the battle. Super cool. I didn't know that. Wait, Matt, where are you from? We have fans in this area. We have fans. I mean, we have fans all over the world, but that's pretty cool. Yeah, so Shane's in the Czech Republic. Which is awesome. You can spoof your currency with a VPN though.
That's neat.
That's pretty cool. Shane, I guess I owe you a good bowl of pho next time we're in Prague. He's at it's Argentina. Oh, okay. That's cool. Amber says Shane. We love Shane. And yes, friendship fees are plummeting. But that's okay. We love you anyways. I love how Shane's in this one because we're talking about Prusa. Shane, am I going to see you at Rocky Mountain? I haven't actually confirmed whether or not I'm going to Rocky Mountain, but are you going to Rocky Mountain? Are you going? Just trying to make sure I plan accordingly. Dude, I'm thinking like fiber lasers and all
if
these,
you can get a fiber laser on it, that would actually be really cool because then you can laser prints.
So like you could do a CO2 laser. No.
Yeah,
Just
but then you have to bounce the light in.
so what? Mount the mirrors permanently.
Yeah, but the accuracy you need for that is really high, and it's a bit of a faff.
That's literally
But a
how
fiber laser, just a tube.
Okay,
Just
well,
tube.
it's a price point thing.
Fibers can be cheap as long as you don't mind dodgy and slightly damaged. Because you got like solid output lasers where they're like just like vibrating rock.
I'm imagining like a 100-watt fiber on an XL doing
Oh
a
no,
big
someone's gonna
disc
cut
of
through their bed.
brass. Oh shit, that's right. Yeah, you could cut through. You could cut
Someone
through the
will cut
bed.
through. Like you're gonna see this big laser head come down and just go.
Whoa! Oh, guys, can you help me? I cut through my bed on my Prusa. That's a print fix. That is the winner
Oh
of
my
Print
God.
Fix Friday.
Do I need to send an email to them to go, hey, can I get a Prusa XL so I can put a fiber laser on for a meme?
Shane, I know there are boxes. If there aren't, I'm sure there will be of XL beds that don't pass QC. How many of those could I get for a joke? No, he says. Whatever you want, no. Okay, fine.
Oh,
That would be very funny, though. Like, God. My
get one of
eyes,
the big
goggle
heads as
do
well.
nothing. Oh, dude, it would be so dangerous. Like, the amount of danger involved in that. God.
Yeah, just hook it up to 3-phase, the world's most powerful Prusa XL. Oh my God.
I can see all
I know the
YouTube...
company that can give you the head. I can get you the head.
Oh, look.
They're like $400. They're not even that expensive.
Shane still gets requests for the fish. They don't get it? Like, they don't get the fish? For those who don't know, it's a complete gaslight. Shane says, funny maybe, copycats trying to do the same thing or better, many. And that's fair. So do your memes, have fun with it, but please don't do unsafe things, because in the event that someone does copy you and hurts themselves, there's some liability associated with this, which is complicated.
No welders strapped to your Prusas, please. Don't. I know people have done that.
You could do a MIG welder on an XL, couldn't you?
Yeah. Oh God, I'm getting ideas again.
Oh, damn it! That's such a good idea, though!
Oh, and then if we could have another head that has the subtractive, just like gently topping it.
No,
you can make so much mess.
You can't get the rigidity. You can't do it.
Oh, you don't need the rigidity. You don't need it. It just needs to be roughly good enough. Like you add a 200-watt geared down single flute end mill. Just yeah, it might take 45 minutes a layer.
We're making Shane's anxiety go up.
Well, directly to the bed, so you just remove the bed. Done.
Lewis asks Jacob, does the Prusa XL keep all the tool heads at temperature when printing? Does Jacob know the answer to this? Because Jacob doesn't own a Prusa XL.
I don't own a Prusa XL. I believe they lower the temperature, but they don't turn it off completely.
Yeah, they do. So
heads the time taken to warm it up from cold wouldn't make sense when you're changing often. No. I believe they do set it to an idle temperature, but then they time the estimated amount to reheat and they pre-warm it up.
Correct. Yeah, so it's like 160 to 170 is the recommended idle temperature. You are able to adjust that in the slicer settings, and so it only keeps the heads that are being used on. All the other ones get turned off. So.
And material degradation isn't that much of an issue when you start lowering the temperature. It's all logarithmic. If you're at temperature, you'll degrade it, let's say 1 unit per second. You lower it by 10 degrees, you've halved your degradation. Another 10, you're basically not degrading the material at all, and you could do hours. So there's no real issue with it being warm and molten, as long as it's not warm and hot and molten. So it's
wham on a Prusa XL. That'd be pretty cool.
I want to make that happen.
Thomas said a MIG welder would be a challenge to electronics. Not at all, actually. You need to pull apart a MIG gun. You would need to wire its trigger to some sort of GPIO relay system with the XL, and that's it. Because the
You wouldn't even
trigger,
need to do that.
why not?
Yeah, just wire it directly into the heater output.
Well, so
The moment you start heating for extrusion, it starts pushing plastic, or in this case, wire.
right, but with MIG, you have to deal with wire feed and the speed of the wire feed. There are ways. As Chagall says, Grant describes the X-Tool metal fab. Yes, I like the X-Tool metal fab. There's a few other. I also want to look at this new X-Tool. What's that? The new X-Tool. The hell is it? God, I'm blanking. Their T-shirt printer. I like that one too.
Yeah,
I want to look
that
at
looks
both of them.
nice.
Yeah, the T-shirt one, dude. If I didn't have to wait to do my own T-shirts, I could just go buy blanks and the DTF printer. I'd love it.
I would have so many t-shirts if I had one of those machines.
Yeah, and there's a lot of those laser welders out there, but I've said it before and I'll say it again. I think that X-Tool has a very, very, very good integration system, and I believe they are worth the money if you don't want to deal with potentially iffy software and their size limitations are within what you're trying to do. Because I think that the ease of use is well worth it for the average user. Plasma cutter. God, no, that'd be so. Well, I mean, okay, a plasma cutter or a fiber laser, it's basically the same thing at the end of the day, right? They're both ablating metal.
Yeah, I think any type of time you need to use a welding hood around a 3D printer, you might have gone a bit too far.
Or
I'm not saying you have, I'm just saying you might have.
Or just the right amount, you know? There is this, have you gone too far? Or is everybody else thinking too small?
I would do so many stupid things.
Wire EDM plus a printer. I don't see the value in that. Like, go put the Rack Robotics wire EDM.
I was just going to say Rack Robotics.
Yeah, go put that on an Ender and stop. You're done, right? That's what you need. I don't think the XL brings to the table more value than an Ender unless you need something big. Right? I don't know. I could see people like I saw Luisa was in here, Randomize 3D or Randomize E3D. Love her models. They're absolutely amazing. Find her on Patreon and Thangs. I think she's going mostly to Thangs now, maybe. I forget 100%. I think she's moving off of Patreon, but like I could see creators like her that do designs, Wexter even, that would want to take clothing and draw that on there so they could wear their own merch. Now, mind you, these, direct printing companies, like we're going to be using Fourth Wall, they're not expensive.
They're
right?
not expensive.
I can get a shirt delivered to me for costs like just under
even
20
one
bucks.
of my local embroidery services.
Yep.
They're not that expensive.
Ooh, an embroidery head on an XL?
Ooh, now that would be fun.
God, that'd be...
Russell Milner with the small flat iron for better smoothing. I like that. Like actual ironing.
Actual ironing, yeah.
Actual iron. You go one further. Have a branding iron.
No. Jacob. Heat set insert tool that puts the inserts in the print.
I'd buy that. I'd buy a printer just for that. An all-in-one machine that puts the heat sets in. I have a customer that would buy that instantly.
You can cover the heat sets. So, because heat sets, they pull out too easy. Right? Their pull-out game is strong. This would stop that problem. Oh, that'd be so cool.
Unfortunately, Russell, patent it now. You've already broken it because you made it public.
Yep. You've already talked. We have now talked about it publicly. If this is a public disclosure, so
But if you're in America, you still have a year. America allows public disclosure up to a year.
Here we are doing a few companies worth of R&D for free. Shane did just pay me 200 CZK, so is that like technically? I mean, it's probably. I hope that's from Shane directly. It's like 7 o'clock there. Uh, yeah, bury the
Oh.
inserts. I still stand by the fact that I like the woodworking inserts better.
I've tried the woodworking now. They're so nice. They're actually really nice.
They're
I'm
way stronger.
100%. I'm with you on it now.
They're not.
I'm sold.
The threads don't go as high, but if you're embedding it like this, right? So the threads are inside of the part, so the thing looks clean. Dude.
It, somebody needs to steal these ideas and make it possible, please.
Okay, Shane says super chat is from him and from his account, not a work thing. All right.
Oh, so you didn't even get company discount. Got to spend the company money.
It's a Sunday. Nah, we love Shane. Shane does streaming as well. He's been streaming on Twitch. So I try to watch his streams. Shane does like VTuber style top-down Lego. Shane has done something that I find super cool, and I am probably going to steal part of it. He uses a mouse mat that's green.
Oh,
so he
chroma keying the mat.
He chroma keys the mat, so he can put like a video on it. You could even do things like where you when he does a lot of like Lego builds, you could have the instructions on the mat for
That's
your
nice.
viewers, and
I like
that
that.
is so cool. That is so cool. Yeah, I will give you credit. He said thief. I said I will give you credit.
Exposure, if you will.
Would you trust a printer to print you some trousers one day? Print in place? Absolutely not.
100%. 100% I would. If anything ends up showing, that's just a benefit to everyone else.
You couldn't film it. I mean, you could.
It'll be awkward.
Put underwear on. I mean, it's not that big of a deal.
Nah, you can't monetize it that much anymore.
Yeah, I'm not attractive, so that doesn't work. You could. You're the pretty boy.
You're not going to the right areas.
TPU pants. End of Lululemon as we know it. Jesus Christ.
Oh,
no, TPU is not breathable. My God, that'll just be just sweat. Just sticky.
I'm sorry to break it to you. There's a segment for that as well.
Nope, I'm not. Nope.
Yep.
Nope.
I've learned way too much about the clothing industry.
I do need a contact for custom garments, though. I do need that. Defy 3D said that would be a game changer. To be fair, I had to pause a print the other day to do heat inserts, as there was a printed section above, which meant I could not insert them afterwards. That's a pain in the butt.
That is really annoying.
Like I've done where the heat sets go in from the back, so they're harder to pull out through the front. Yeah, Mike Jones says there's a girl that prints fashion and it looks pretty cool. Anouk Weiprecht is the one that I know. I'm probably butchering the last name, but that's close enough. You'll find her. I met her back in 2015 or 2016 when Rapid was in Orlando and she was doing a fashion show. And she had an entire SLS printed dress with sonar sensors on it. And
that's neat.
Yeah. What it did is it determined how close somebody was. And the dress would like it had arms on it that would like come up, like spikes that would come up. So if you got too close,
that's cool.
It forced personal space.
Okay, that's actual fashion. I like that.
Yeah. She
that's really cool.
Anouk does, and Anouk's done plenty of talks. We should try to get her on as a guest. I don't know if we could do that, but that would be so cool.
That would be.
High fashion with 3D printing opens up a lot of opportunity, but at the same time, it can add problems because it's like, Are we solving a problem with a solution, or are we creating more problems?
Why not both?
I mean, sure. Sure.
Look, if all the problems got fixed, I'd be out of a job.
That's fair. That's fair. What other tools? I'm excited that Prusa's finally taking this seriously. You know, the XL to me has always been a bit of a. I've always been a little bit upset at my XL. I love it. It is paid for itself, but there's always a part of me that's like, you have almost made back the money that you cost me by taking so long.
Oh, it's so funny because it's true.
I've lost tens of thousands of dollars in work because it took 2 years to get an XL. It is what it is, but it's bummer, right?
Here's a tool head for you then. Laser scanner. So you can scan every layer very quickly for tolerance control. Literally just steal one of the Creality or Bambu Lab third-party camera and structured light scanners.
Yeah, you just do. It's a single line laser optical sensor. That's all you need.
I made one. It was actually really easy. The software sucks. That's the main thing.
Yeah.
Cameras are expensive. Lasers are cheap.
Yeah, and LiDAR is pretty simple. You could do triangulation. You could just do multi-camera photogrammetry, but that doesn't require any heads. Yeah,
when I say LiDAR, I do spell it LIE because it's not laser. It's not LiDAR. They're not measuring the time of flight.
Light distance and ranging. That's all it stands for.
Yeah, all they're doing is they're looking at the line with a camera and they're going, oh, it's high or low. It's literally just a graph. That's not LiDAR. It's literally just, it's photogrammetry with less steps because you're not even calculating anything else.
But it works.
It does work. It's really accurate as well.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
I tried to get one to work over the entire bed in one go. Almost worked. The main thing that didn't was the camera resolution can't keep up to the density you need for the bed. So if the bed's more than like 100 mil big, the pixel size of the camera means like your accuracy is plus minus 30 microns. If you can get a higher quality camera, you could have done the entire bed in one single pass. Literally 10 million point bed leveling because it would have been perfect.
We need like a beacon eddy probe, but for plastic.
Yeah.
And then that
actually, I think you could do that probably with a capacitive style probe.
But they're not accurate enough.
Nah.
Someone had mentioned, so we did that thermal camera stream. They said, could you do a thermal camera time lapse of a 3D print? That's pretty cool.
That's neat.
Yeah. I think vision systems are a huge opportunity. I like the idea of material deposition, right? So like paste extruders, looking at things like injecting foam into parts, injecting sand, weight, or non-weight, different chemicals, right? So, I mean, this is, I'm sure, highly illegal in many countries. Methylene chloride. Put a methylene chloride sprayer on a tool head. Sprays the inside of the part every 5 or 10 layers, and the methylene chloride, melts everything together, and you now have a homogeneous part, basically. It'd be super cool.
It would be.
I think there's benefits here that we're missing, and I think it's all in like the material paste extrusion. All in the material paste extrusion. Because there's all these different things you can inject into a print that will make it stronger or will make it better. Right? Soundspark says a problem with methylene chloride is that if you're exposed to it, it metabolizes into carbon monoxide. I am not aware of that. I did not know that.
Didn't know that. All I knew is don't go near it. That was pretty much all I know.
Yeah, it's just carcinogenic. It will melt plastic. It'll dissolve plastic enough to get it underneath your skin. Um, looking at
Oh, Kiska with a good one.
tin.
Tin melts at 232 degrees. Can we make a tin printer? That would be fun.
I mean, I don't see why not.
I wonder if we could just can we get tin in wire form?
I would like to look at doing a belt printer XL. Thinking completely outside of the box. If Prusa's going to open up toolheads, that means they're opening, well, okay, they're not opening them up, but they're accepting ideas. I want to take all the accessory for a toolhead and put it into a belt. So I can have auto part ejection on the XL.
I would love that. I've always said belt printers don't make sense because of the angle the head is at. But if you consider belt printers as a infinite printing regular printer, you just print apart, eat, print apart, eat, and just keep doing that. That is valuable. That is automation right there. You don't need I'm going to make a massive sword, because to be honest, no one's doing that. But if you're making loads of bits, you need that off the bed as
if you have a belt printer, do it once just for fun, right? But then you realize this was stupid. It took way too long and it wasn't worth it.
Yeah.
But I mean, then there are like the baby belt printers that will get you more than acceptable print quality for, $300 or $400. So yeah, or the Crooked Crow. But the Crooked Crow, and we've had Rob Mink on here before, the Crooked Crow was designed by masochists for masochists, okay? That thing is just no. I will make one at some point, but Rob will be holding my hand through the whole thing. Rob's a great guy. We love him. He's in our Discord. Super cool guy. We hang out with him and his birds. Rob has a gray. A gray parrot. Whatever the hell the gray parrot is. Why can't I think of the name? Oh well, it's a gray parrot. It's a special, smart gray parrot. I forget what the hell they're called.
Duff with a really good one. Copper wire dispenser, so you can incorporate antennas or shielding.
Combine that with the tungsten filament. African gray. It's an African gray.
I have people who've bought our machines that would spend ungodly amounts of money for a machine that can print with shielding on the inside of a printer.
Somebody just said an easy cheese head. Oh. So you showed me like the easy cheese in the UK, which comes in a tube. In the US, it's a pressurized can of cheese. Now, people have done this. Matt Stoltz specifically has done an easy cheese Delta printer. It is hilarious. It does not work very well. There are videos of it. It is incredibly cursed. But it's one of those because you can doesn't mean you should, but he still did.
I'm just saying our squeezy cheese is so much better.
I'm not even certain that they could even call it cheese. They probably call it, pasteurized dairy
cheese
product.
Effect.
Pasteurized dairy product, right? Yeah, I'm not going to get into cheese.
Inspired flavorings.
Inspired flavoring. And yes, the parrot's name is Graham. He is an African gray, and he is wonderful. Thank you for people figuring all that out for me. Yeah, dude, copper and a wire bender. Like a thing to insert and properly bend wires that would get you your antennas. That would even get you extra strength in parts, because you could do.
If you get solid core wire and you bend it and lay it in.
Well, let's look at other things other than copper. Thin steel. You've just added a ton of strength. Copper too. It work hardens, but copper too. Copper's obviously probably easier to get, but I mean, use welding wire, right? You can get spools of that stuff. You've got a lot of opportunity there with I'm giving so much work to the engineers in that department. I'm sorry, but you guys are also awesome, so you're welcome.
I mean, I just really want to make a tin printer now.
Yeah, like I think what they've showed us so far with the marker, with the drag knife, that to me shows intention. And seeing what I've seen at Prusa, they're a lot deeper into this than most people understand. Right? Like I can't talk about some of the testing rigs that we've seen. Just if it's not on
Yep.
camera, I try not to talk about it because
I mean, it makes sense. There is secrets that companies must keep.
correct. And
And YouTube, as much as the viewers probably would love to find out,
yeah.
you're not worth it.
We were originally
debating.
told that we could film it, and then 10 minutes later it was like, actually, it's probably best we don't. Okay. Very, very cool testing rigs that people don't expect. Pewter would be cool. Pewter, because its melting temperature is like 230 C. Wait, why don't we already use pewter?
Actually, yeah, we could. Well, if tin is only 230 as well, I was legitimately thinking, what if I just find solid core wire in 1.8 or 2 mil diameter and just be like, I'm just gonna feed it through and see what happens. Like, can I accidentally make a dirt cheap metal printer that from an Ender 3 if it was tin or pewter?
You'd have to cool it properly. Yeah,
Slow it
Weber
down.
Creative Music says flow control becomes a nightmare. It does, because you need a heater and then a syringe style thing to deal with flow control. Flow control.
Make it a 0.2 nozzle with one of those little airbrush extendy tips and just a lot of air fan speed.
A lot of opportunity. A lot of it's like this itches my brain in the right way, but it also is like I have ideas. I have a semblance of a plan. I don't actually have a plan.
I'm so
Well,
curious.
I'm not skilled enough to make any of these ideas happen, right? Like the idea of a metal printer as an XL is super cool. Like to put a welder on it and to use it as a welder for metal printing, and then to print a rocket engine and then ignite it. You can make really janky rocket engines that just work really, really well.
Oh, I want to do so many things.
Ooh, a hot wire foam cutter. Tom said foam cutter.
Oh, that's a
Hot
good one.
wire. Hot wire.
I like that.
Yeah, David Connor Sherwood says how SLS printers work. Most metals go instantly from solid to low viscosity liquid too quickly. So, dude, you could replace the bed with a bed of nylon and do like thin SLS parts.
Well, it's even that. The fact most metals go instantly from solid to liquid, that's the strength. Because if you just keep it temperature in the liquid zone, you can cool it immediately back into solid. Turn the weakness into a strength. Why do I want to print a rocket engine now? See if we can do it out of tin.
Well, so the way to do it right now would be to use like a metal laden filament and then have it sintered. Right?
Yeah, but that's not as cool.
No, it's not. It's not as cool as doing it with a welder. You could
make
do
a little pulse jet.
You could do binder jetting metal. Yeah, it's fair.
Ooh.
Jetting metal is better. Yeah, well, and that's what you would do. You would do like a pulse jet. Yeah, like we're not doing like liquid oxygen injected rockets. Yes, I'm like 2 hours from NASA, but we're not doing that. We're doing stuff that's going to get us put on watch lists that are interesting, not ones that keep us from flying. Right. Yeah, and John Sir says the welding-based 3D printers make really tough parts. Or rough parts, excuse me, rough parts. They do. Yep. Relativity Space is best known for it. They make
I can't remember which printer brand does it. They do industrial additive subtractive with a WAM head.
Mm-hmm.
I know WAM is a technology as well as a company name. I mean, just the technology, not the company name. But yeah, they weld and then they machine it flat because they don't have the control process to correctly like measure the amount of weld bead at certain areas. So they'll do an oversized weld bead,
Yep.
then they machine it back to flat, and then they do it again, and they keep doing that over and over. And it's not perfect because you will get warp in the part due to the heat. But I really like that. It's like a really like, oh, we couldn't fix it, so we just machined it flat with a massive flywheel.
I mean, look at, and this is beyond the XL, but have a 3-axis printer on a 5-axis a CNC. So Haas has done this, and I think it's with Philips, where you can replace one of your tool heads in a Haas machine
Mm,
with a FDM printer head. We were
yeah.
looking at one in the Discord the other night that's got a, it's like 3 by 2.5 by 1.5 meter print volume. But because it's also a 5-axis mill, it deliberately over extrudes. It uses a minimum 6 millimeter nozzle, 6 millimeter, not 0.6, 6 millimeter, and
Huge.
then mills it down to final size. And that to me is where you have that molding of additive and subtractive that is just the perfect kind of complementary relationship. Um, you know, I look at, yeah, you could do something similar like that on the XL. Brendan Builds is salivating currently as we're talking about this. It's possible, but I think it's impractical. I think a machine that is more specifically designed to be rigid would be better,
Mm.
right? And Kegel says if you can't weld it, grind it. Hey, grinder and paint makes me the welder I ain't. Okay? That will get you far, you know. I guess we'll have to see. Obviously the marker the marker to me makes it so I don't have to do multi-material, but if I already have a 2-head XL or a 5-head XL, why wouldn't I just use multi-material?
Yeah. That's the thing that makes me just unsure.
But
Like
like
I
what
would
else
I can see like you the only thing you'd get is the waste tower isn't there.
so what else comes in a pen form, right? You can do a flux pen to
Yep.
flux PCBs in very specific areas. It's like
Do chalk pens.
I'm looking at it from like a perspective of I want to look outside of the world of additive. What could you use a motion platform with this size for? And while Diameta says marker is a better approach, I don't know, because like the multi-material works just fine. I have phenomenal success with it, but what else comes in marker form? Screwdriver, engraving,
Mm,
um, I don't know, cake decorating, sewing. These are all ideas that are in the chat. Um, yeah, I like the idea of flux,
oh yeah, that
but
could
like
work.
flux and a solder paste dispenser, right?
Mm.
So you can flux areas on a board, solder paste it, and then you end up either utilizing. You have to have a really low melt solder, but you use
Are
the
we thinking too small? What if all 5 heads were not printing heads? Like 3 pick and place heads with 3 components, one flux, one solder head. Do an entire circuit board. You've now got a small print and pick and place. The entire thing.
so.
Add one of them with a camera just for like little quality assertion as you do it.
But at that point, why would you not just go get a Lumen PNP? A machine that is
You got me.
designed and dedicated. So this is where it's the same issue that we were talking about with Bambu. At
Yeah,
what
it's
point
the
are
overlap.
we yeah, at what point are we pushing to have a machine that becomes mediocre at many things so that it can do many things, right? Yeah, the Opulo with the Lumen PNP. Like at what point
Hmm.
like I would look at it and say, well, shit, could I have it hold an actual like laser scanner and use it as a scanning platform.
That would be cool.
Right? So let me take one of the heads, pick something up, and let me take the electrical side of it to a turntable. Let me just have something that holds it really, really steady. Because any wiggle in your hand can translate into part inefficiency. Right? There are so many opportunities, but I'm not certain how many of them pose a significant value add to the machine as a whole. Right? I could see ahead for dropping a part, a ball bearing, into a print, and then encasing a ball bearing, but then you have a bamboo problem where it's impossible to work on it. I could see one that uses rods. Let's say you're loading it with like a magazine with 100mm long rods, and it has a little cheap, crappy Dremel head on it with a diamond wheel, so it cuts them to the right size, heats it, and pushes it into the part. Right, so you get like proper inserting of steel rods. We have a client that requires really, really high strength prints. I've talked to them before about adding hardware. What if we just embedded the effing hardware into the print?
I do that. It works. It actually works.
Instead of threaded inserts, let's put nuts into the print, right? Yeah. Instead of having to add a hole where a square nut drops in, drop the damn nut into the print. Then you don't even deal with heat. You just deal with a machine to drop a part. It's just a door, right? Or a little trap door. There are tap and die. Well, rigid tapping. I don't think you're going to get rigid tapping, but I don't think it's stiff enough. But I would love to see Prusa open source some of that to allow users. But so Joe put out there that they're working with a university on this, and I think that's the thing that a lot of people missed, is that there's a university involved. As soon as you get university level research money involved in it, big things happen.
I mean, the things that happen at universities are insane. So in Europe, there's not that much money for research.
No.
But it all gets subsidized, so it gets done anyway. When I was doing the Kickstarter video with Joel in Malta, they went to the University of Malta, and they had it wasn't a Prusa XL because it wasn't out by then. But they had the E3D toolchanger, and some of the stuff they were doing on that was actually bonkers insane. And everywhere I've been to that had these in universities, the stuff that they were doing is probably 5 years out, even now, from becoming realized. But if it happens, like
we worked with cool. a medical client that does custom pills, is the easiest way to describe it. And we made a peristaltic pump that attached to a ender for them. That's what we made. Real simple. Amazing. Peristaltic pump, custom made nozzles so that they could get it down to the size of their of their pill cases. Like, peristaltic pumps open so many opportunities for bio-based. You can look at the gel 3D printing that prints with a needle inside of the gel.
That's cool.
Yep.
I really want to see that realized, because at the moment, I don't see the point, but I see the possibility of it. It's really cool.
Thomas said custom pill sounds like a gray market. Look, as someone that has a hard time getting their prescribed legal medication, the amount of research that I've put into trying to synthesize dexmethylphenidate, which is Focalin for those that don't know, internally, it requires machinery that I cannot obtain access to currently. But if I could, you could do.
I was trying to look for I can't remember the chemical now. Red Bull patented and never used a stimulant alternative to caffeine that doesn't do the heart palpitation but still has the stimulant effect. I've been looking for ages to find somebody that can custom synthesize that, or that there's an analog to modafinil, which is like a dopamine reabsorption inhibitor. Really good for people with ADHD because it doesn't give the meth side effect, but it also is better on the body while still giving stimulant to things. Like
It's why I like the
custom
Focalin.
pill printing. Oh,
Yeah, it doesn't have the amphetamine Adderall side of it, but it has the hyper focus. Grant becomes, like a superhuman version of himself, useful person. So
one of these days I will go get myself checked for if it will be good for me. One of these days. I'm just too lazy.
I literally
I'm
just
unmedicated and unsafe.
I'm unmedicated on the weekends. So I because it's hard to get, I won't take it on the weekends or days that I know are going to be slower
Mm,
days, so that I have like a bit of a spare just in case.
mm,
So yeah, it's not illegal to produce this kind of stuff yourself if
mm.
you maintain the proper licensure. If you maintain the proper licensure, you're just you're a medical company,
I'm
right?
pretty sure even in the UK you can synthesize for yourself with no requirements. It's only if you start let's call it distributing for
Yes,
obvious
yeah, yeah,
reasons.
yeah. Don't produce with the intent to distribute. And if you do, don't talk about it on the internet. Dreamsport said, "Were you unmedicated, Smurf?" I don't remember.
I'm never
I
medicated.
don't
The only
remember.
medication I take is anti-nauseants, and that's mostly to get through my own thoughts. Nah, the only medication I take is way too much caffeine because I realize it does the same effect. That's it for me.
I'm
I'm
not a
raw
caffeine
dogging
guy.
life.
I'm not a caffeine guy. I
I like it because it does the opposite
we
for me.
gotta
So I would have one before I go to bed because it actually calms me down and then I sleep better.
I gotta message Nick. We got to get him back on. A licensed therapist to discuss this kind of thing, to go through like medication and ADHD and all that. We'll have him on. Trying to think. Oh, sure. You could have it keep your cuppa warm. You could have it properly remove the tea bag, and like you could
Oh,
set it, dunk the tea in perfectly.
oh, we could have a little electromagnet with a spoon just slowly stirring. Mm.
And we don't know what's in the cuppa because we still don't know what a cuppa actually is. But you could do it. That'd be damn it. That'd be funny. Like, could you have an XL make it a full English breakfast? How much heat does it take to cook an egg? You could
Not
do it
that
on the heat bed.
68 degrees, I believe, is all you need to cook an
So
egg.
you could use the heat bed to heat
Yeah, but oh
eggs.
no, I think you could do more. So obviously you're gonna break some warranties doing this, but the PCBs of the bed are phenolic based because it's PCB material, it's just resin. And it's wire and a couple bits of solder. So if you don't get above, say, 180 or 190 degrees, those beds should be perfectly fine. They won't degrade.
No,
So
it's
you short out the power supply so you get more power or just put your own in. I think you could get that bed scorching hot and actually fry an egg. Not just slow cook, but
no,
fry an
no,
egg.
no, no, no. Sunny side up, so you still have the yolky center, right?
No, 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 no. You need the yolky center, but if you scorching hot, little
Yeah,
bit of oil, get the crunchy underneath, little
I
bit of
get
garlic
it.
salt on the
I
yolk.
get it. I'm not trying to build a fire hazard here.
That's my job. That's what I do. I'm the
No,
fire hazard
you
guy.
literally don't build fire hazards. That's why your printers are expensive, because
That's
they're
why I'm
not
bad at it.
fire hazards.
Do you know how hard I've tried to build a fire hazard and it's just safe? Oh, I hate fire testing.
E3D
It
made a
actually
full
scares
English
me.
with their toolchanger.
Let's go.
Wait, what's a traditional Czech breakfast? Could I like warm up some mulled cider? I mean, of course I could. You
You
could
don't
make it,
even need to modify your printer for that.
dude, you could make a drink machine. So you because they're peristaltic pumps, you can have each head has 5 to it can have multiple nozzles on it. As long as the nozzles fit in the drink, you can have multiples. You could have the ultimate bartender because it could have hundreds.
Prusa XL drink device.
Yeah,
Let's go.
a shot bot, basically, a cocktail mixer.
Oh, that would be so fun. You could do that. That'd be fun. I'm getting ideas and I don't like them.
That's not even unreasonable either.
I'm just going to quickly Google
unreasonable.
how many tool heads the RepRap firmware stack can support.
It's not, but it's not about tool heads. What you need to do, it's the same way that like addressable RGB LEDs work. You just need to turn that into something that turns on a pump. And then you know for how many seconds the pump is on is how much liquid it dispenses, right? It's a time thing. You need to turn a motor on and off with time.
Oh, I like these. These are fun. Can it shake? Well, you can move the bed up and down and that will shake. Have a head with a spoon just to stir.
It doesn't even need a spoon. Freaking use a stainless steel rod that just goes in there, right?
Yeah, but it's about the aesthetic. Have a full-on spoon, just go woo.
I mean, if you want the full
Though I will
aesthetic,
argue,
put
I'm going to annoy some
in
people. Well, I'm going to annoy some people right now. I stand by. Forks are better to stir with than spoons because they create more eddy currents, so you get more mixing going between all the little fins.
Whisks are more close to forks than they are spoons.
Oh, John asking if I gave you Marmite when you visited. Unfortunately, I didn't give Grant Marmite, but I did give him Twiglets, and that counts. And they were so good.
They were so bad.
I hope.
Bad.
I am so annoyed we didn't get any B-roll footage. So we were at Belvoir Rail, and me and Nathan were just popping off, going, "Oh, they got Twiglets in the little van that showed up." So we bought this massive box of Twiglets, and we were picking it up. And Grant had no idea, and he had them, and he was like, "Oh,
it tasted burnt." Like, yes, I'm sure if I just went handfuls, I could get used to it. But on a quick little taste,
so good, so lovely. Look, even the chat thinks you're wrong. There we go.
Most of the chat hasn't even had a Twiglet before.
And I bet they will like it.
What are Twiglets? Salty black licorice? No.
Almost. So they are just like puffed corn, whatever, like a really hard, a generic flavor profile base material.
It's a Cheeto without the cheese, right?
And unpuffed. It's a Cheeto that's unpuffed without the cheese.
Yeah.
And then you coat it in a thin coating of Marmite paste. So it's a really thin coat. You don't need much. And it looks like a twig. And it's so good. It's so good.
It is an acquired taste, and I feel like over time I could acquire said taste.
Yes, it is like Vegemite, but better.
Twiglets are a yeast-based snack, a wheat-based snack marketed in the United Kingdom. Yeah, it's a pretzel with Marmite. That's fair.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh man, we got a lot of people liking the Twiglets over here. It's a goat snack.
You are just wrong. You haven't tasted flavor. And yes, Vegemite is a bad copy of Marmite.
Could you make a Twiglet dispenser on an XL?
It wouldn't make it to the XL. They'll be eaten before they get in the machine.
Wait a minute, Jacob, I've forgotten the biggest thing. A soft serve 3D printer that prints in soft serve ice cream. It just got harder for my heart to do its job because my arteries got a little more clogged.
I do have a food safety license. I can make that happen.
I have cottage law. Under $250,000, I don't need a food safety license.
Oh, I keep forgetting America doesn't have food safety.
Over $250,000 we do.
That's so sketchy. Do you know how much food you can make for under 250,000?
That's in sales, not profit.
That's even worse.
Stone slab and an
Food
ice
safety.
cream mixer. See, what we
Ooh,
need
that'd be
is
fun.
we need to replace the XL beds with, like, as much as I don't like Peltier modules, that's the only way you can cool it sub-ambient. Then
Yeah, but
yeah,
Peltier isn't bad. I
they're
will argue that they just get a
woefully
bad
inefficient
rep. And
because they need a ton of power to work.
look, you're worried about woefully inefficient. You're talking to me.
Pancake bot. Yep. Well, that already exists. And look, have you seen the pancake bot?
No. Oh yeah, no, I have. I
Yeah,
have.
it's
I love it.
It's a 3D printer gantry with a hot plate. It's great. I
It's so
want
cool.
one. We were going to get one when we had a retail store, so we could serve pancakes on the weekends.
That would be cool. That would have
Then
been really cool.
then we realized the retail store opened us up to more liability for food safety instead of doing it
Oh,
out of your house, which maintains cottage industry.
imagine having to worry about food safety in America. Oh,
I still want to do it, but I would almost never use it. So, yeah. Defy 3D said, please don't do ice cream. It would get nicknamed the typhoid maker if you're not careful. Typhoid?
like the disease?
Yeah. Cutting a pizza? Okay, like that's. I want something
See,
like.
the thing is, I think we could have done this already. Like, we could already have modified the print heads with enough effort.
I'm looking
Break
like
enough of
a
them.
drink bot is somewhat practical. It's dumb, but it's practical.
You could do that.
Cookie cutter doesn't make a ton of sense. Like, at what point do we get out of usable, realistic, and we move into, well, this is just stupid for stupid?
We are borderline doing, well, open source can do anything, so let's do everything. Have it make sushi. I would rather not. That sounds like it will be an awful time.
If you can keep it cold, it's really not that big of a deal. Right? It's all about temperature at that point.
I'm not
What's
gonna lie, I'm
wrong
just
with
never gonna
stupid
eat
for
sushi in
stupid?
America.
There isn't anything wrong with stupid for stupid, and if we look what's coming up in a couple of weeks, I have a feeling that Prusa's April Fools might have something to do with dumb heads on the XL. I sure hope it does. And if the engineers on that project, who I know watch this show, it should totally be part of the April Fools thing.
If you need a fiber laser head for 20 kilowatts, I can get one that fits on the Prusa and you can cut all the way through and the planet below.
20? No. No.
Yeah.
No. Stop.
The heads are really cheap. They're really cheap. Like you can afford one in a blink of an eye.
And fiber optics aren't that expensive either. It's
They're
just a pain in the butt.
literally the to get a full machine, 20 kilowatt fiber, minus the actual body of the machine because you won't need it, you're looking at like $4,000.
And that's why I think that X tool fiber laser cleaner CNC cutter that will also do well. I'm gonna reach out to my X tool contact. I want the t-shirt printer. I also want the
I want both.
I want them
want
both,
both.
but yeah, it'd be cool.
I think it would be amazing.
I'm waiting for us to get over 50K because when you reach out to a company and say we're at almost 50K or we're over 50K, big differences, right? Like that's 50K is like it's the same as 25K, right? It's 1,000, 5,000, 10,000, 25,000, 50,000. Then there's a chasm between 50,000 and 100,000. There's a chasm there. It sucks, but yeah, it sucks. But it doesn't mean if you're a small creator to not reach out to companies. We're just so close that I'm not going to until I hit that.
It's worth the wait.
Yeah, it's worth the wait.
It's worth the wait.
The weight of the wait has weight. There you go. Brush for painting. Ooh, I didn't think about that. The XL could theoretically, because you should let's say it's watercolor.
That would be fun.
Or acrylic. Then you only need one head for that. Well, no, you could do
even oil would work. Oil would be easier because it doesn't dry. Spray can head.
Too much overspray.
You're awful. Yeah, but that's part of the fun.
So I've been getting into glass recently. I'm like, ooh, what about adding like a way to dispense molten glass?
That would.
We're gonna be doing some stuff. We're gonna be doing.
If we ever take you out to Malta, I'm taking you to the glass blowers.
Oh yeah, we're gonna learn glass blowing, and I'm gonna do a lot of it on camera.
Honestly, Maltese glass blowing, gorgeous. You can sit there completely open, and they just have like waiting areas, so you can just watch the craftsmen at work.
All right, I'm gonna give some shout outs as now we're talking about glass. Weirdy with a beard. You know what, Grant? Just put their effing Instagrams.
And Lewis, yes, Mdina glass every time. I love them. Every single time.
And
every time I visit, I always go by just to say hi.
Give me a second. Okay, so this guy does really awesome. He does a lot of the classes at Zen Glass Studio in St. Pete, which this is their Instagram. And then I met this person here as well, the Solificent Creations, and they do micro glass work, and it is super cool. But some of the glass blowing at Zen Glass Studios is just tremendous. And you know, if you're in the
they got a little adorable Cthulhu. Oh, that's adorable.
And if you're in the St. Pete area, the classes are relatively affordable. And apparently, if you happen to be of the greenery flavor, if you will, they do a make your own pipe class every Friday night. It is a 420 friendly pipe, which not my vibe because of legal, but super cool that they let you do it and you make it out of glass. So yeah, if you're interested in like glass stuff, go follow those people and I don't know, tell them it's because of us. Yeah, we're gonna work with this this Solificent Creations gal to learn micro glass work, because I want to work with the maple glass people that do glass 3D printing and see if I can be a glass 3D printer and do it in a meaningful way.
That would be really cool. Honestly, I think that print
upcoming
is so
video
neat.
Series. So, or upcoming at least one video. But yes, that is the plan. We might end up doing live streams there, but they have really bad internet. So I got to figure out how to do it over like a cell connection, basically. But haven't figured everything out there yet. Sip of Coffee says, how do you get past the temp sensor restriction when clipper handles tool heads? Yeah, Danger Clipper. That's how you do it. Use Danger Clipper. It's exactly how you do it. And that's how CocoaPress does it. The biggest issue with CocoaPress Audit XL, and it's such a dumb issue, is the CocoaPress requires high sensitivity for its temperature control. Because if it gets too warm, it clogs and jams. And if it gets too cold, it clogs and jams. Like, you're controlling tenths of a degree Celsius on the CocoaPress. And it has to be that accurate, and it has to update faster than regular tool heads. That is what makes the CocoaPress a bit more of a problem compared to other heads. So, which is hilarious that that's the reason the CocoaPress is challenging. But it's the reason. So. I do like it, though. I am excited to see what Prusa comes up with. I like that they're teasing this to the community and basically saying, what do you want to see? Right? As a as an R&D side of their company, that is the best way to determine what people will want. It's to ask them. If you don't know what your customers will like, it's a great thing you can do. It's called asking. Don't assume, ask. It's pretty cool. Anything else you want to add, Jacob?
I have lots of ideas. I'm still torn on the bloody
it's like
zinc printer.
We've both gone a little quiet because like the
There's
hamsters
a lot to
are
process.
moving. There's so much opportunity on the XL. I think they're going to obviously push the ones that make the most sense, right? They're not going to do a drink bot. Maybe that would be like, you know, an April Fool's thing. But I do want to see practical uses. Yes, we've gone way out into the weeds of impractical uses for a Prusa XL, but I think there are some really practical uses. The heat sets that get inserted mid-print, the dropping of magnets, or the dropping of any component, whether it's magnets, nuts, bolts, inserting of steel rods into prints for strength, sand with epoxy, right, or resin to, you know, stuff to make it do stuff, and even utilizing like input shaping movements to settle the sand before you put the resin over it to lock it in. That kind of stuff to me has so much value, especially to new makers who want to do certain things that the industry just isn't very good at.
I think the big one, if they could do it, is the fiber. If you could get just a fiber extruder, that would be night and day.
And you're saying continuous fiber, correct?
Continuous fiber.
Yeah.
If you could push fiber and figure out a way to bind it into the part, you have made a exceedingly higher budget, Mark forged machine that is
lower budget,
fixable. Oh yeah, lower budget. An exceedingly lower budget Mark forged machine that is fixable without the service plan, and you get the same benefit.
Yep.
But you can also work on it like that. That would be neat. That would be really neat.
And Johnson says you need a cutter for the fiber. That's not too difficult. There's plenty of cutters.
Just get a cutter.
And the blades are cheap.
You don't even need a cutter. You could just use a guillotine. Just two blunt things go with enough pressure and it'll cut.
I don't think Prusa will ever do that.
No, it steps a bit too close to Mark Forge's IP.
A bit? It just...
Directly on top of one of their patents.
Yeah. But it's a great community thing to do because... Oh, God.
Can't stop open source.
Amber said she'll be in a few and she has a thing for me. I'm really concerned. Amber went out to go get dark beer because we're doing corned beef. We're doing Rubens. Because it's around St. Patrick's Day, so you can get corned beef for cheap, so we're doing Rubens.
See, now I'm worried what Amber could have brought back.
Yeah, me too.
Remember your safe word.
But yeah, I do think a Mark Forge style continuous fiber extruder, right? And it can be carbon fiber, Kevlar, glass fiber. It could be copper. Copper could be cool because, or steel, because you can heat it.
Even like for shielding, just like EMI shielding, that would be exceedingly neat. All of a sudden being able to either embed antennas or just shield the electronics inside an enclosure with your own Faraday cage. That's a sellable feature on its own.
Yeah, I think that there's... Now that Prusa has kind of opened the floodgates... Ooh, hemp fiber.
That's neat.
Is hemp fiber... Oh, yeah, because its tensile strength
it's strong. Its tensile strength is really high.
Even things like monofilament, like fishing line, Spectra, right? That adds strength, and you could even play it to where you're slightly melting it. See, I look at the carbon and say, I want carbon that's like pre-preg, right, that has some of the epoxy mixed in already,
Mm.
and it's somehow heat activated, or it's activated with something that you can do so it binds. Markforged does it well because it is embedded into the plastic. It's not between layers, it is inside of a layer. The problem that Markforged deals with is shrinking, and that the continuous fiber doesn't shrink like the nylon does, and you have some weird problems there. Yeah. Oh, I mean, even a sticker applicator to stick RFID or NFC stickers into a print says
That'd be
Weber
cool.
Creative Music. I
That'd be
love
really
that,
cool.
especially for little like printed business cards. But at the same time, a little slot on the side where you slide the thing in, and if you wanted to seal it up, you could. That's good enough. Continuous fiber for me is the most exciting thing that I've seen so far. But I think that there's
Heat
a lot
set
of
inserts, continuous fiber.
material
Oh god,
paste extrusion. I
yeah,
don't
the
care.
material paste.
I don't care what it is, but material paste extrusion is really cool because it opens up a whole other door.
The pen is nice, but any printer can really do that. You just duct tape a pen to the front of a printer and set the Z offset wrong.
You could do that on an XL toolhead.
Yeah.
Hell, mount it to the actual frame of the XL, to the carriage on the front side.
Mm.
So all you got to do is just raise the Z a little bit, and then the marker hits things. You're done. You don't even need a tool changer for that.
I take it back. Yeah, that needs to be done.
You don't
just
even need
straight up. Make a mod. If they release the files, make a mod. So you've still got your print head and just a little robotic arm to raise and lower.
That front cover's done. It's out there.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as long as that head is enough above, if you wanted to be super cool, you could have a little cap that flips out of the way, but it's not necessary.
But that's not needed.
Yeah, it's just over time, obviously your pens or your ink is gonna dry out.
Yeah, but if you're actually using the pens,
what? Yeah,
it's nothing to what you're doing. If you're doing it because you need to do it, you don't care what the cost of a pen is.
No.
Also, just get a little bottle of isopropyl or just like vodka or something. Just leave them in the tip. And then it never dries out. So if it dries out, just leave it in for 2 hours. I'm done.
There's so much. Yeah, I think the marker can be done without any tools.
Yeah.
Hell, it could be done with no tools.
Elaborate.
Park the tools. Park them out of the way. Then, so don't do it while you're holding a tool. Park the tool, use the marker, go grab the other tool.
Yeah. It's a virtual sixth tool.
You could do it while, I mean, you could just cool the tool down. But so they showed us it with the same material, right? The same material, and you're using the marker as the zero interface. You could do that while holding the tool, as long as you do it fast enough. Oh no, you couldn't, because the tool would strike the part. The tool would strike the part, so you couldn't do it. Yeah, you
wouldn't ever have to turn the heat off to the part. So just park the tool, do it, grab the tool.
If it's fast enough, yeah, you'd be fine. Yeah, like the marker specifically, I don't think it needs to be its own dedicated tool, because it doesn't require any electronics. Anything that doesn't require electronics of any sort, and it's just G-code, yeah, it's a bit more complicated on G-code, but opportunity.
And I love opportunity. I'm really excited. This is definitely the way forward. Like, I love the community outreach. This is how you talk to the community as if they were peers and not as people to sell to. And this is why I love everything about Prusa, because they just care. And you can tell. And I love it.
I mean, literally, the Joe put out things saying we're not just orange when they released all this new green filament, right? A bit of a tip of the hat that it's not just all about Prusa. Prusa recently added in printables, send directly to Prusa Slicer, Orca Slicer, Cura, And yes, Bambu Studio, directly from Printables. Printables did not need to do that. They
I
are.
wouldn't have done that. If I could have taken an
I don't know
opportunity
if
to go,
I
yeah,
would
I'm
have
not going to
either.
put the bamboo slicer there. I would have put Orca. I would have put everyone else, but bamboo slicer, that took a decision to go, actually, we're going to be better than that. And they
That
did it.
is the definition of taking the high road. Like the absolute definition. Of saying, this is the road people expect us to take. We're going to take this road. We're going to take the high road. It's doing the right thing. Kind of an olive. Part of it's an olive branch, but I don't know if part of it's also like a bit of a decided troll because Maker World only lets you print to Bambu.
Yep.
So I don't know. I don't know. Jason Graham says, put another tool grabber on the front of the XL. Front gripper is for passive tools like markers that don't need cabling. Yeah, you could have a little like a click in, click out system, and then on the front of the XL, there's places to dock markers, like different colored markers. Yeah, being the bigger man, impressive decision, what people say. Olive branch to a big stick. Yeah. It shows that while, yes, competition is good, friendly competition is better. Prusa said, we are about friendly competition. We don't want to limit your access because you're not using our slicer, where everybody else does. Now, of course, there are other slicers they're not pushing to right now, but I think that's more of just an integration issue than it is we're not using them issue. Or
I mean, they've put the big four in. Like, there's not really any other bigger slicers that they could have chosen.
Idea Maker would be a good one to put in there just for the belt printers. But again, it's
a very niche.
It is.
It's like maybe Flash Print for the Flash Forges, but again, niche.
Yep.
And it's also Flash Print sucks. Don't use it. Don't use it.
And Kisker said, who loses from that choice? Depending on how Bambu takes it, Bambu and only Bambu. That's right. So it's a dig, but it's a dig with a tipping of the hat to the community. It is the way I want to see companies compete. Right? Yeah, it's we can do this on many platforms. It's not difficult. Now ask them why they don't. Amen. Skate Soup answer. Like that's the win.
Sometimes it's the silence that speaks the loudest. And it's definitely that. When Prusa can do it and they give it out and they're just like, yeah, we're being the good guys. All it asks is, why aren't the others? And that's why I love it so much.
The read between the lines of, what aren't they doing?
I love Prusa so much. Like, we need more companies with that ethos.
We
just need more companies that
come with
trust
us next time to
people.
Prague. You got to. It's fun.
I'll do it eventually. It'll be fun.
No, man, next time we go out, you guys come out with us, take a family holiday out there, bring the whole crew. It'll be great. And it's so affordable.
Are you saying that I can't be your B camera operator again? I really enjoyed that. That was fun.
You can be. I'm not going to stop you from doing that, but bring the parents too.
They can look after the dog.
No, come on. Your parents have a ton of fun. And dude, like,
they'd love it. They would love it.
It's such a beautiful city. It is like, okay, I come from a country that has only been around for a couple hundred years, right? Like, Prague has, like, I've been in buildings that are older than the discovery of North America, like that, like churches that date back well into the 1600s. I'm like, jeez. And like the Gothic architecture. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, Jacob can be my B camera, Amber says.
Yay.
You did do a good job. You guys will see Jacob on the camera in the next main channel video, which come out in about a week and a half with Beaver Rail. Very excited for that one. It does involve a very iRobot style video opener. And that's all I'm going to say about it.
It is a good video.
It did involve me
I
getting
like
laughed at by construction people, though.
Yep. And
Yeah.
we damaged public property.
We did do that.
Yep.
We damaged
which didn't make it in the video.
We damaged over $100,000 of robots.
Yeah.
I mean, the robots made it into the video, but the damage didn't. And at some point, one of them ran into a wall. That was not our fault.
Yep.
Not our fault.
We did not just public property damage, we did private property damage.
Jacob rides, Amber rides. I was too heavy to ride, but you know, we make it work.
That's going to be a clip and you know it.
Huh? Yeah. No, we didn't specifically damage the robots. The robots were damaged in the filming of the videos.
Oh, I really want one of them. They're so cool. I have no use for it, but I want one now.
I want to put a printer. I want to put a printer on one. Amber said she has something for me, and I'm worried. Is it something that I put on camera? Amber? Okay. All right. We'll wait for Amber to bring it. And then we'll sign off and give away some filament here. You went all the way out.
It's a long story. Just don't worry about it. I'll tell you later.
You went all the way out to,
it's 12 minutes.
to World Market.
It's 12 minutes.
I got some Haribo.
Oh.
More important, look at the back.
Okay. Made in Germany. Oh, Germany.
Oh, you got the good ones.
Yeah, these are from Germany.
Oh, the German sweets you showed me, they're coming. They're coming soon. Some? Yep, they're coming.
Okay. We got Cadbury Crunchy Melt. Amber was left unattended.
They're good.
Oh god. I'm good. Almost dropped things. A little bottle of tahini. A little tiny bottle of tahini.
Oh, that's adorable.
Yeah. Cadbury Crunchy Melts. Man, you were left unattended in a store. And then we've got Milka Strawberry, Milka Oreo. I've had the Milka Oreo before. They are quite good.
And then I wanted the...
Amber wanted the
Ooh.
Sour Sketty.
I've not tried them.
Very nice. So you went all the way out to World Market because we needed dark beer?
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Thank you.
I got a porter.
You got a porter? What'd you get?
I don't know. This is the best I could find.
Samuel Smith Old Brewery in Tadcaster. It's a Taddy Porter. We're not going to drink it. It's for cooking.
I could not find a single bottle of Guinness that wasn't like huge crap.
Huh? Oh, you want to put the stuff back in the bag? Oh, okay.
Oh.
Here's a little bottle of tahini.
Isn't that cute?
It is adorable. It's absolutely adorable. Here you go. Well, cool. Anything else, guys, before we, Oh, Victoria has been evicted. No. Where is the cat? Oh, yeah, she's in her bed. Oh, because it's going to storm, so she's in the window. Yeah. All right.
Oh, you know what did arrive the other day? The cardboard
knife. You got the cardboard knife!
I even prepped.
Oh, that's right. You hadn't tried it.
I haven't tried it.
You haven't tried it yet?
No, I've had it. I open it. I'm like, not doing anything until I'm on stream. Not doing anything until I'm on stream. Okay, so anything I should know in advance, or I'm just going to start ripping into some cardboard.
You can stab into the cardboard if you want, but it doesn't have a sharp tip. The serrations are where it cuts. The tip of it doesn't cut very well. Yeah, I saw a lot of people saying they got the cardboard knife finally.
I'm even going to turn off my background blur for this.
Okay.
Let's turn off. There we go. Let's start with an edge, a nice strong edge. Let me zoom out as. Oh no, my auto frame's already off, so let me just lower that. There we go. It just went through. It's so clean.
It's so clean. Jacob, try to do a curve now. Yep. Try to just do an S. And it's not a blade that's gonna
clean.
It's not gonna cut you unless you really try to cut yourself with it. Let me go to printables and pull up the one my buddy Amos made, the sheath for it. What is this magic? It is the Canary cardboard knife. You can find it now, and we have updated last week's podcast. It now has the entire link to all the tools. Yeah.
I
The
love
Canary cardboard knife is truly amazing. And my buddy Amos, and I'm putting it in the chat, my buddy Amos did a sheath for it that clicks in, so it locks in. And it is amazing.
I need one. I need
Yep.
to make the sheath now. Oh, that I didn't expect it to be that good. Like at all. That was impressive.
Mad Cat, I'm gonna remove your link. We're gonna make him go to the last podcast episode and get it from the Google Drive that I put about 3 hours into building because oh my god,
3
there were so
hours?
many links.
I spent all of 5 minutes putting that link together.
Do you know how many links I had to build?
So for everyone who doesn't know, Grant was like, "Oh, Jacob, could you make the Google Docs so we could put all the things in?" I was like, "Oh, I'm kind of let me do it.
Did you see
I'm
how
busy."
many links I put in there? Yeah,
So I literally
quite a
just
few
copy
hours.
pasted the world's laziest here's a list of things
I
into the
cleaned it up.
thing.
I
I was
made
like,
it
I
better.
ran out of time. I go back the next day and it's properly formatted with multiple tabs and all the affiliate links and
Yeah.
everything.
No,
Just sat there like I did
Dude.
nothing. I did less than help. I probably made it harder because you didn't make it in the first place.
those cardboard knives, though, I gave them out as Christmas gifts to everybody. I think they're amazing. I think more people should own them. They are so incredibly affordable. They are truly one of the most useful tools in our shop. And if you have kids, they're great to give to kids so they can make their own cardboard forts and stuff. Like, you want to cut a circle in cardboard? Great. Because you know how I've done it previously? I've used a jigsaw.
Yeah, that's what I did.
Drill a hole, use a jigsaw, and I'm done.
It's better than me just using a random blade and then trying not to slip all the time.
Right. Now you won't. You can cut circles and things. You know where I use it the most? I use it to make custom-sized boxes, but also
Ooh.
custom-sized inserts in those boxes from other
Ooh.
boxes. So if I have a box that's too big, I can cut the box down and still get what I need, but then I can take bits from other boxes and use it as packing material. If I need to fill a void, like an air void, like let's say I have parts that don't fit perfectly together, I need to fill an air void, that's how I do it. And it's amazing. XL adapter for the knife. Now.
Yeah,
Nah.
that's just called duct tape it to the machine and then move the bed up and down with the box
Yeah.
on it.
But yeah, no, it's
That I like that. That
have one at the
That was
factory because they'll cut the plastic zip ties and stuff like that too, but they are much better for just cutting cardboard.
that was nice.
They
I
make
like
a
that.
retractable one. That's fancy. Meh.
A bit
I
too
don't.
fancy for me.
Meh. That's too fancy. But yeah, totally. Those cardboard knives are awesome, aren't they?
That was cool. I'm so glad I'm so glad I didn't try it until the live stream.
I totally forgot.
Hey,
Oh,
next one we will have the sweets, so we can try super sour German sweets on stream.
Did you have to order it from Germany?
I did.
How much was it?
Wasn't too bad. I actually so I could have ordered one, and it was like £6 in shipping for like a €1 packet of sweets. So I just like put together a little like grab box. I was like, I might as well if the shipping is going to be the same. So it was only like €25. But it's
Yeah, they're
for
right
the
here,
bit. I can class it as a business expense. So I bought sweets on the business card.
Make sure your mother knows that.
I didn't. She came to me a couple days ago. It's like, Jacob, why did you buy sweets? I'm like, it's not what you think. It's for a bit.
Well, we have to make sure that the Germans are here. I have to make sure Nepo is here before we do it. So we will schedule it with Nepo for either next weekend or the weekend
Fantastic.
after or something like that. So Kisker said, I could order 1 pack of vines, but the shipping is the same if I buy a 5-pound tub. Yep, that's how I got my 5-pound tub of red, 5-pound tub of red vines. My father loves red vines, and I was at the Costco Business Center, and they sell a 5-pound bucket of them. I was supposed to give them to my father for the holidays, but I forgot. So I gave it to him randomly recently. I said, ignore the sell-by date. They've been aging in my pantry. I didn't open them. They're fine. But that's it, guys. If you as Dreams Void says, the next bit in this stream is the segue to the sponsor, Construct 3D. So if you do want to check out some of the UK's fastest 3D printers and the first true Bambu 3D printer, you can do so by checking out Construct-3D, linked in that description down below. Huge thank you to Printed Solid for sponsoring the filament for the stream and what we do, and be able to give you all some filament. And stay tuned, because if you do or have one internationally, the merch is coming soon. It's coming soon. So stay till after the outro. As always, we'll give away some filament. But that is all we have for you all today. Remember, leaks. Is it a leak or is it marketing? Or is it really just a vegetable? Who knows? And, I don't know, don't put a MIG welder on your Prusa unless you're a YouTuber. Stay safe out there. Don't forget to call your loved ones. And as always, keep making awesome. We tried. It didn't work out well. It's okay.
Nah.
We'll see you guys later. All right. We are done recording. Let's give away some filament.
Whoop, whoop.
Let's turn off the responses. I have warned you all a plenty of times. I have learned there's a better way to get the names out of the list, and I'm kind of pissed for how easy it is now. Oh, that's cool. So the regions. USA is 80%. Canada is 2.6%. EU and UK is 15%. And other is 1%.
Oh. I'm
That's
actually
pretty cool.
surprised how high the EU and UK one is.
It's because they like you. They're here for your accent.
Nah, I wouldn't go that far. I've got the worst accent in the UK.
You're fine. All right, let's see. Let's see. Did they do the math right? Let's find out.
Of course they didn't. Nobody does the math right.
It has happened more than once that people don't do the math right. And I don't exactly know how to deal with it.
Oh no, Diomedes saying it isn't a leak, it's a teaser for the new 3D printer. No, if you want a teaser for a new 3D printer, let me see if I can actually get something up right now. Save
Don't
that
do
quickly.
that.
Oh, yeah, I'm doing it.
No,
I'm doing it.
I'll turn your
I'm
camera
doing it.
off.
It's not. Nobody will even know.
Your mother would be
There's no-
upset at you.
There's no proof. There's no proof. But like none at all. Like it's just a blue background. There you go. There's nothing
Oh.
to see here.
Okay.
There you go. Nothing to see. Nothing at all. That's it. It's not a leak.
The Squid
There you go.
510, if you are here, you want to roll a filament. Millennium Machining says, hey folks, hope you're having a good evening with the 2 pounds. Thank you very much. Is that Millennium? I can't see. I can't see their whole name, but Millennium Machine something. The Squid 510.
Millennium Machine
all right.
Works Official.
Machine Works Official. Okay.
They're the ones that make the Milo, I believe. The really amazing
The mill?
the mill.
I want to build one of those. They look super cool.
Honestly, I saw it Smurf in 23, and it was the hottest machine I've seen in a while.
Yeah, I've seen them in person a few times. They are super, super cool. And let's just do one more for good measure. Let's just do one more for good measure. They have won before, so this month. So let me pick a different one. Okay. Let's see if they've got the math right. They didn't get the math right, so a new one. I told you, people don't always get the math right. The answer is 42. It's not 13.
I've never actually seen the sign up sheet? What is the question?
It's just like it's a math verification, so you can't cheat it. It's just 6 times 7. It's 42.
Oh no, it's 13.
Right. Mike V, if you are in the chat, you win a roll of printed solid filament. Mike V. And I would say that we're going to pass you all off to Mr. Steve Builds, but he is not streaming. So he is either in Shanghai or on his way to Shanghai for TCT Asia, I believe. He and Nero are going out there together, which is super cool. Wish I could be there with him. Hey, there's Mike V. Awesome. Well, the two of you winners, contact me via Discord or something like that, and I will look at you guys your filament out here relatively soon. That's it, y'all. Have a good one. That was your 3.5-hour show.
Oh my god. We can't do a short show to save our lives.
We could. It would just have to be more structured than this, you know?
It would be so boring.
Yeah, but it would make sense. It would be boring for people that are used to this. But the ones that complain about the shows being too like ADHD, they'd probably love it. So, yeah. All right, y'all. Have a good one. We'll see you later.